speaker's moving his taekwondo pad.
Yeah. Nice. All right, everyone. Welcome to the Sauna, presented by Sweaty Synergy Esports. My name is Woody, and we have some great people that we're going to talk with today. Actually, it's probably our biggest crowd yet. We have 5 people, and I'm looking at the stream right now, and I'm like, you can only see like right here, and actually, you can only and you can only see Night Raid from. Oh, now that you move back, okay. I say you can only see like your eyes and below. So anyway,
Oh, because you cut me off, man.
You're perfect, man. It's the hair, the hair, the shirt, the Armajet tattoo. You look fantastic. You don't have to worry about it. Nice. And the nice, comfy, like rug chair thing you got going on there. That's awesome. But yeah, so I'll let Night Raid, our host of the show, give us what's going down. What's happening?
Fantastic. So welcome everybody to the Sauna episode 9. I can't believe it's been 9 weeks already. I mean, time does sure fly when you're having fun, and it seems like 100%. Every week I can't wait till Saturday to get on with you guys and our special guests to talk about our Armajet news and the sweaty topics. Tonight with us we have 2 special guests. We have Rezon from newly rebranded Terminus. And then we have Sauna Stino, excellent caster / Armajet diehard. I'm not sure if anybody, I know most of the new people won't know him, but I know the OGs definitely remember him from casting at a lot of the Armajet tournaments. We have our resident here, The Secret, and of course my main man here, Woody. Woo! So we have a lot to talk about today, especially with the Battle Gem Part 7 ready to happen tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. I think we definitely have teams that have kind of formed all of a sudden to try to compete for some of the sweet cash that we have raised so far, which is, I believe, $1,200 currently.
No, not yet, Night Raid. You have not owned up to your side of the deal, sir.
Well, we talked about doing it tomorrow.
I know.
That way everybody can see me do it. So it's $1,200. I mean, I think I've showed you I'm pretty good for that money. So our first topic, the new update, right? Definitely the new update dropped on Tuesday. It has a couple new It has a new mode, the survival mode. Now every pilot has their own stats. What are you guys' thoughts on the new update as far as the game mode and them choosing to give pilots stats?
I think it's giving a lot more depth to the game. Yeah. Even though there's not that much of a difference between a lot of the pilots, right. There are some pilots that are on those extremes. Like, there are some that have higher base and shields. Some of them are faster than the others. Survival mode is crazy hard, especially for someone like me who's a Thunderstorm main.
Oh, I bet. I know that I've seen Draco try the survival mode without doing any upgrades. And Dracoson, I think the furthest he might have gotten was like wave 13 or 14 on Temple. And I mean, that kind of shows you like you definitely have to upgrade something to try to get further. I tell you, I know the legendary skins on guns will give gun upgrades. It's not anything crazy, but like it does give you some free upgrades, so the skins definitely help. But I've noticed, I know I have my Dominion up to, I don't know, like say 83, 84, and I still had a hard time beating it. Yeah, and I still had a hard time beating it, even with my pilot at like level 46 or something like that. Like it was hard. So like you definitely have to save your gold and spend it wisely to beat it, or you're gonna have to get carried by somebody. Rezon, what's your thoughts on the new update?
So far so good, I would say. I was enjoying the new update, especially the survival mode, of course. I actually got it done. I got the 1-2-3, yeah. But it was crazy hard. It was really hard. I did it together with Crunchy, a good real-life friend of mine, and we were struggling hard. But yeah, eventually we got it. But the new update, so far so good. New pilot stats. definitely brings some more in-depth to the competitive scene. And yeah, let's see how it will prevail.
How much gold do you think you spent on upgrading your pilots?
Good question. I was primarily spending my gold on the Black Tusk. I think it's on level 46 now, and my pilot is around level 20-ish. Yeah. So I would say around 80k, 70 to 80k.
What
That's
pilot
it?
are you using?
Wait, hold on.
No, maybe like you're thinking more probably like a couple, at least a few 100,000.
Yeah, I was never good at
I
maths,
have
by the way.
already, I have already spent. I think I've already spent 70, maybe 90k, and I'm only at my Black Tusk is at level like 15ish, and then I'm on Wisp for Anna, the legendary skin for her, and I'm at like level. I think I want to say like 14 or something like that with her.
Okay,
Nice.
so it would
I spent
be...
a lot of gold.
Yeah,
I spent
so
probably about right around 100, right below 100, I think.
Right now,
Yeah.
I'm probably borderline a million. Like no joke.
For real?
See,
Wow.
that's
I mean, for
what
real.
survival mode does. Dude, the developers at SBM are so smart. They're
They
like,
are.
how can we get people to spend more money on this game? And the only way you can get 1337 right now is at the end of survival mode. So everybody's like, it's like a rush right now. It's like a gold rush to get to the end,
No.
right?
Well,
Absolutely,
and
everybody
there's
wants that new pilot.
And there's a lot of
I
old.
thought it was.
So
To
there's
say,
like
there's a lot of old pilots out there that are sitting on hundreds of thousands of gold, and they're seeing that and they're like, well, how do we get that out of their hands? Because they're obviously just sitting on it, and there's nothing to spend it on. They're like, unless you're gonna buy micro packs the entire time, or the odd badge here and there that shows up in the store, you're not spending it.
Right. Yeah.
Literally for
think
me, within the first day of playing survival mode, the first night, because it like the update dropped for me like late afternoon, I was just like, dude, like Elsif already has it. I need to get this, and I dropped $20 on Paragon right away. I still was like, yeah, I'm going to the canyon at least. I couldn't even get through Temple.
Yeah, it's intense.
I couldn't even
It
get
was
through
genius.
Temple.
Here's what I think it's gonna do. Having multiple modes, I think it's great for the game. And I always try to look at it from a new person's perspective. It's our job, I think, as people who are in the game already, who are obviously in the tournaments, to, I would say, not really complain, because I don't know if the game should be looking after our best interests. I think it should be looking out for the majority, which for me, how can we get more new people in? Because I think that's how we're going to get taken care of. You know, if we just get this game bigger, you know, people like Rezon, people like me, people like Night Raid, you know, people that are playing in competitive scenes, it's going to benefit us later on. It might be difficult for us because we might not like it in the beginning, right? Because of changing metas and, you know, we get used to certain things. But the bigger that we get the game, I mean, the bigger the scene, the bigger the tournaments, you know, the bigger the follows. It's just good for everyone. I think this move does exactly that. So I'm happy they did it. I think this is good for a lot of new people. It brings in different games. So it's good.
That's awesome. So
I was a little disappointed though.
Go ahead.
So
Woody.
we were speculating on this update, and that game mode that Kima kind of like leaked that picture. I was really hoping that you're gonna be able to get sucked into a specific queue that you want, like Battle Ball only, or like if you want Fuel Frenzy by yourself. I really thought that's where that was going, because I know we've talked about it a bunch of times. I know a bunch of other people have talked about it, because you know, some people don't want to play Battle Ball. Like, yeah, it's coming, it's coming, and then I'm like, ah,
you're gonna make
disappointed.
the change because of me. That's right.
That's right.
Didn't even make the change.
No, they didn't.
I know. Oh, I'll tell you this. I've seen a lot of new faces lately that have hit that 4,000 mark. So it's definitely getting people engaged. The stuff that they're doing is getting people a little bit more engaged into the game to start leveling. Because for us to see this new wave of hopefully new wave of competition ready to come in, I mean, if I were any captains of a team or I would definitely start looking at these pilots because there's some good ones coming in.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I don't want to be a player hoarder as I'm known, but I mean, I will definitely grab some of these younger guys and we'll train them
Pokemon,
up.
bro. The Pokemon motto, man. You gotta catch
Gotta
them all.
catch them all.
Gotta catch them all,
I
right?
wasn't out there trying to share. You want to be the very best.
Well, I mean, Ash was actually pretty good about sharing stuff. I think it was
the
his rival
very
Gary.
best.
All of them.
All right. All right. So as far as that, right? So we have the new pilot, or we have the new layout with the pilots as far as stats go, right? So obviously it created a new meta to the game. I mean, some pilots. I mean, at least every pilot is 100, but some pilots are at 120, 120, 110. Shield levels are different to where some pilots can get up to like 260, 280. I think at the highest one I was like 290. I think is the highest. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, their numbers are definitely getting up there. So like, it's harder to get one-shot frag. So I think that I'm not saying this fixes the frag spamming, but it does help not get one-shotted by a frag, right? So what are you guys' thoughts on this?
The new update especially made it harder for long claw or backline players, because we long claw players tended to one-shot people with the Marauder, and now with with the pilot health and shield buff, it is way harder for us to execute these one-shots.
Right.
So that was definitely a kind of a how do you say that? Well, just plain bad for us. For us
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that
Kind of right.
That really-
it kind of messes with your game plan, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
you're preaching to the choir. I mean, I'm a Dominion user. I love trying to one-shot people, and now like I can't. So like, yeah, I know your feeling.
The only people, if you're looking, yeah, and you're right. This is something that we were talking about earlier in the week before the show, but it is like the stats for these pilots are actually in versus modes too. It's not just in survival mode, and it's not gonna buff them whatever you buffed them with your gold for survival,
Right.
but they're still gonna have their base stats, which are, if you're looking across the board, a lot. There's still a few pilots who have 100, right? About 4 of them do, but there's some pilots that have 110, 120 health. The ones that have 110 are Yumiko, and then we've got Ramirez, and then 120 for Ruthless. That's before their shields. That's just their base HP. So you can't one-shot them with a Dominion anymore. It's going to be a lot harder if they have shields for you to do your 1-2 with the Long Claw and the Marauder.
Well,
So
I
that
think this
so that
move
makes it more interesting too, because
but
like we have the issue. I think they changed the issues with the fact that in competitive play it's potentially that not everyone has all the guns to be able to choose at your will, right? Now you're going to have the same issue where now you have pilots that you may not have access to because you haven't unlocked them. You haven't been around long enough or spent enough money to unlock them yet. So you're gonna run into that with competitive play now, because I know I don't have Ruthless, and I think there was like one other I don't have it either. So like if I automatically I'm starting off with a handicap almost versus those.
Well,
others.
now I'm thinking.
I don't even know if it's genius. I mean, I don't know if there's any way to summarize it, because also if you look at other games, right, the characters that you pick in other games, like for example, like big games, right, tend to matter. Like this is not something new. I think obviously Armajet was just always more cosmetics, but now especially it's different. So I think this is genius, because even for example me, right, I didn't have Yumiko. I still don't. I didn't even care though. Like it wasn't a big deal. It was just a cosmetic player that was like, oh cool, I don't have her. It's not a big deal. Now looking at her stats, I want her. Like it totally changes everything. I think it even makes people that have been on the scene for a while, things matter again. You can mess around with the characters, figure out your playstyle again. Like it's cool, and I think if you're a new player too, there's bigger, that gold matters. You know, everything now it kind of matters more, and that's a good thing. The gold matters. Before we used to joke around with it, right? We would hoard it and kind of like, oh, how much do you have? And be like, oh, I have this much. Now it's like, how much you have? I have 5 because I just spent it on an upgrade. You know, like so.
But so you think this was planned by the developers to say, all right, so if we give these pilot stats, the competitive players are really gonna want these, especially the newer ones, right? Because they're gonna get a taste for the battle gym and they're gonna want some more, and they're gonna say, all right, we need this pilot or this pilot to try to make our team successful. Now you have to spend money to try to get those pilots, right? You think this was kind of thought into the plans of making it this way?
There's a reason why I constantly.
Why did they make us spend all our gold? Like, here's what I'm curious about: is there something bigger on the horizon that we just emptied out all our accounts on? Like, they just made us empty out our gold. Think about that, right? And the next upgrade, it's like, hey guys, here's something incredible, but you need this much gold. Oops! And I'm like, fuck! I just spent over 100,000 the last one, you know. So I don't know, man. I think this gives them so many routes. Now gold matters again. I don't know who's hoarding gold anymore. It's not me, that's for sure.
I got down to 400 gold yesterday.
Yeah.
And then I just did a survival right now before the show, and I got back up to 5,000. Yeah. Playing survival, if you're able to get up to those higher waves in survival matches, it matters now to get gold.
Oh yeah, and here's the thing. Even Paragon, Paragon's always mattered out of all of them, right? Like you'd always want Paragon. But now I don't think you're keeping on to anything. So I think that gives the developers so many more options now, where the cash matters, man. That makes people want to spend money. You know, you're not upset anymore if you just get gold. Like you literally brought life back into a currency. That's a big deal, man. I could seriously see this being a big changer. And also for the future, not just right now, for the future. Nobody has gold anymore. If they make things in the future, just buy it based on gold, people got to spend money or they got to do something.
You're right, Secret. And for me, what I was doing for the last few months, ever since they implemented challenges, was I would do my challenges weekly, usually to get either the epic pack or to get just the Paragon. So I just did 5 challenges a week, right?
Yep.
So I had 200 Paragon, every week. Saved it up until I got 1,000. Then I would get the legendary pack, right?
Yep.
That was so cool. That was so easy. Now, this week, because of survival mode, I was like, should I get the legendary pack? Or should I get the chance to upgrade my weapons and make it a little bit better? And I went for using the gold on the weapon upgrades now.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that was the right idea.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's bank account is empty, man. Now we were holding all the chips before. You got to keep that in mind, right? If they came out with something, I remember every player was so cocky, especially in Unite Raid. They're like, if a new character came out, you were buying it the next day. You're
right. I definitely was.
Yeah, and now, nope.
But I did get leaked the next day.
You did, but you just emptied.
Yeah, but you grinded your ass off. But you had so much. Yeah, you had so much gold. You basically bought your way there.
Okay. So what's your point? Haters.
I'm just saying. I don't even know if this is the finished product, and if it's not, it's genius. It's
well, hopefully, I have time to grind to say stack back up. Right. But yeah. But back to the topic though, right? So this new meta, right?
If you think of it, what if we just gave them that idea? They're listening in right now. That was never their plan, and they're like, "Yeah, that is a good idea."
Right.
I just want to comment. I just want to comment the fact, like we talked about. I know you want to, talk about the new meta, and I'll give you a moment to. It is about money, and Unreal FX pointed that out. Of course, money drives the business or a game to continue, 100%. But I say this at the end of every battle gym. Is that get out there and buy Paragon, because that's really the only way the developers are making money, because there's no advertising. Sorry, there's one advertisement if you want to get 20 Paragon. And that's only on mobile. And if you play PC, you don't see anything at all. So
you guys get 20 Paragon in Canada, we get 10 down here.
Is it 10 or 20? I gotta double check it now. I don't even...
I thought it was only 0.7.
Our Paragon's worth more in the US.
Yes.
Well, it's kind of like the U.S. currency.
Oh my goodness.
Man, I got like no joke. I got to pay 30% more if I got to buy something that's in U.S. dollars. I times it by 1.3, and I know exactly what I have to pay Canadian.
Yeah.
It
That's a
sucks.
good point, though, Woody. That's a really good point, though. I'm not upset by them wanting to make money. Why is that a bad thing, right? It just allows
Well, it
them to
keeps
put
the
more
game
money in the
alive.
game. So, yeah, this is
100%.
great. I'm not mad at it.
Well, I think, yeah, especially for me being, it really, all of us are in the esports team, but me being a caster and like getting so much enjoyment out of it. Like I've spent time hanging out with the developers, Kima, a lot of the Armajet friends and community, people from Europe and across the US. We've met up together at TwitchCon. I've had such great experiences from Armajet. Clearly, that's why I have an Armajet tattoo. And,
You should show that off.
Yeah, I do
Nice.
show it off. I show it off all the time. Here.
That's nice.
Kind of sideways. There you go. You can kind of see it.
Yes.
Right there. Yeah,
Flexing that.
So, but anyway, I love Armajet. This is one of the best mobile games you can have, especially because I grew up playing Duke Nukem. I played Doom. I played Halo 2. Loved all those games. Those are perfectly put into a mobile device with Armajet.
Right.
No, absolutely. Like the characters kind of remind me of Halo a little bit. You know how they got like the flight suits or space suits on, and like actually my lady the other day called them Mandalorians. She's like, are you playing that flying Mandalorian game?
Love for that, and seriously, that's a shout out to them because could you imagine like literally after every round if you had to watch a commercial like most games make you do that are free to play? Could you imagine that? Like after every round, 30-second commercial, just like most of them. This is a free game. That's crazy when you think about it. So if they're finally about to start making money, some money, I say all for it, man. That's awesome. I think they should. They do an amazing job with this game.
And I double checked. It's only 10 Paragon. My apologies.
Right.
We are better up here in the up north, but not that good apparently.
Yeah. So
back to your meta.
Back to the meta, right? So talking about the meta, it's going to be very interesting to see how teams utilize lineups, especially with pilots. Of course, most teams have a different style of play, so that's going to also determine which pilots that you guys load up. I know for ourselves, I'm not going to tell you exactly what we play, but if people have seen us play, we are a team that likes to move fast and try to suppress you. And if we can't suppress you, then it's a very hard game for us to win because that's our strategy. So of course we're gonna have a lineup based on that. But let's say let's just take Skyrose, right? A very calculated mover, right? They calculate their moves to where like if you watch them, they pass very crisp. But for a team like that, like I wouldn't even say they need a fast mobile pilot, right? They would need more of a tanker because like that way they can eat some of the damage to where they can then plan their attack. But yeah, I just think it's definitely going to change how. I definitely gotta say you're gonna have some surprise teams just because of these pilots. That's gonna go into maybe get into the semifinal rounds or the second rounds, but you may see teams that generally win, maybe not win because maybe they haven't practiced enough with it or they just haven't found the right composition of players. But I'm telling you, there's definitely gonna be an upset tomorrow, I think.
So, is there an actual? I haven't played a lot this week, so I haven't tested anything or really everything. But is there an actual visible difference between pilot speeds?
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
There is. Well, on stats there is.
Yes, that's what I mean stats wise. But I mean, has anyone
chasing somebody down?
Has anyone like got a custom game going? Got 8 guys together or whatever, and chose different skins and try to race from one side of the map to the next. I think
if you put 2 equal pro players who are able to like bunny hop effectively next to each other, and you give them the same exact pilot, maybe they're both going to be able to, depending on what they do, are they both going to get to the same side at the same time, maybe. But
Yeah.
if you give one the pilot who's a little bit faster, and so like you give someone Anna, right? You give Anna is 7.5 speed. Then you give the other pilot Ruthless 7 speed. I think there's gonna be a difference between those two.
I would like to know. I'd like to visually see the difference. Like saying 7 doesn't mean anything, right? Like unless you have something else next to it, you can compare what actual speed is. But if you had, like, let's just say not even to the end of the month, end of the map, like we spend most times in the air, right? So, so from the point that you line up at, like, let's say one platform and just go off, you should immediately see, for the most part, if you do it for like 5 seconds, let's just say district, nice big map, that you would see one pull away. That's how you should see it. It'd be interesting to see if anyone's done that kind of test to see if there is a visible difference. They're saying 7.5. How fast is 0.5?
It's 7% faster.
There you go.
Math.
But 7% faster could be the difference between catching somebody when they're trying to dunk the battle ball, or shooting them, or getting close enough to use the thunderstorm, or a weapon that's really light, that's close range.
Was it 7%, or is that like? Are you saying it's percentage? Is it listed as a percentage, or is it?
He did the math.
I divided 7.5 divided by 7, and that gave me 0.071. Right, so you move the decimal, 7% increase.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever noticed the speed difference. I've definitely noticed, like, it's for me, I look at it as weight difference. I'm sure it's just jetpack fuel, but for me, some players feel heavier, way heavier. Like, I've accidentally used some different ones in a game, and I'm getting pissed. I'm like, what the heck? Like, why am I on the ground right now?
Obviously, COVID life has not been well for those people, for those pilots.
It's rough.
Those pilots are feeling a little heavier now, eh?
That's a good point that you bring up. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
You got a little bit further.
Yeah, it sounded quite.
I lost my audio. Sorry. Here, you guys talk, and I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this, right? Think about it this way. That 7% could mean that you run with a heavier loadout.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, loadouts matter. I forgot about that.
Right. Loadout weight matters as well. So that 7% could come beneficial to the loadout you actually run. Now I'm giving away too much, but this is a show and I have to kind of talk about it. But yes, that's definitely going to matter on now the weapon loadouts that you run, especially with the pilots that you choose to run, right? So yes,
that makes sense.
I mean, if you're running a knife, let's say you're running a knife and a typhoon, or a knife and a thunderstorm with a 7.5, opposed to somebody that is running, let's say, a typhoon with a frag grenade at 7, you're gonna whiz right by that person. Like, there's no way that person can catch you. Or let's say a person that runs a Dominion that needs to be in that closer range, you can probably run away from that person without even using your boost.
So Trumpkin actually just posted in confirming my our thoughts about the speed, and apparently they didn't test it with like 8 people, but flying Anna versus Kruger, you saw the difference was huge, despite the extra fuel on Kruger. So that's the
movement's a lot smoother.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I'm glad that you did this too, because even before, let's say this this update, right? I was mentally, it would always freak me out to run with what it looked like a heavier character, and it was mental. It wasn't real. The data was the same, but I would refuse to fly with, let's say, some male pilots because I was like, nah, it's heavier. Nope, I don't care.
I gotta go with the skinny chick. She's way lighter.
Yeah, I was like, she's lighter. This makes sense.
She's been working out. She does her squats. She eats her salad. She's running every day. You could see it. She's healthy.
Dude, it's like some pilots with certain skins. Come on, it's the same thing. It's like we all have our little quirks.
What do you think, Rezon? Like, how has the pilot meta affected your? How has it affected your game style or your strategy?
I don't know actually. I haven't been training a lot with my team lately, and thus I haven't been into competitive scene. I'm just gonna see tomorrow how things work out.
Yeah.
I have something in mind. But I also don't want to tell
No,
too
absolutely.
much.
I'm
Right?
the
Come on,
idiot
this is
that's
the
giving out my
sauna where you
strategy.
get sweaty. You got to release that information,
Yeah,
Night
they're all like
Raid.
this.
But it is interesting just to think about it. The jetpack, right? The jet fuel.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. For example, you take a pilot who has more jet fuel, right? In comparison to one who has a lower jet fuel. Does the pilot who has more jet fuel reach its Vmax?
Mm.
Right? You just gotta
That's
think
actually
about
pretty
it.
good. Yeah.
Well, a
Yeah,
pilot.
That's a pretty good
because
question.
I didn't figure it out yet.
What was the
And
question?
I
this
actually
is
haven't tested it.
Especially in some maps, it matters a lot more. Like for example, Temple, you almost have to use all your boosts, and maybe this might help some players, right? But with some players, if you don't have enough, if you're not using the ones with a regular amount, I would say, you almost have to use all of it to get to the middle, all the way to the top again. Like you're running low to get up
Right.
there.
And I don't
It matters.
think you can, and I don't think you can do this with a pilot that has lower fuel,
Right.
because I don't think it does. I don't think it does even hit its Vmax.
Right.
It falls way faster downwards than the other pilot.
Yeah.
Did
And
you
for
all
those who
talk
haven't-
about who has? Did you all talk about who has like the lowest fuel and who's got
No,
like
we should bring
mid-range
that
and
up.
the highest?
Not yet.
I have it.
We
I
should do
have,
that.
by the way, I have it all on sheets now.
Nice.
Before the show, I just did like the pilot
I
stats
like it.
and I did all the primary weapon stats. So if you look at the fuel, the lowest fuel is with Rogue and
Yep.
Ruthless. They both have
You
80.
feel it.
It's crazy because you think Rogue would be lighter because she's a little bit slim and slender, but she's not. She's more of a I think she's more of a shield specialty. Her and the 1337 have the highest shields, but the mid range, which is 100 fuel, is actually Yumiko, Anna, Ramirez, and 1337, and then the highest fuel is actually Jackal and Kruger at 120. So you have most of them in the middle there, and then there's two on each side that are on the lower end and the higher end.
Yeah.
Fuel. It's very interesting.
I've been running with Rogue as my main before this, so it was really hard for me to leave her. But again, in Temple, it was noticeable. I hated her. I couldn't even. You can't even fly up. It's crazy. It's noticeable.
No, the jetpack fuel is definitely noticeable.
It's huge.
I know myself. Certain shots or certain movements I was used to be able to make, and my mind is already trained to say, okay, I can do this, do this, and now I'm trying to do it. I'm just like, oh, I just fall short, and now it just messes up the whole point. Yeah, I mean, I think jetpack fuel
do you
is
find a
definitely
pilot
important.
that find a pilot that meets that criteria, regardless of, because it's a similar playstyle that you're used to, or do you change it for the sake of the advantages of the other characters, the other pilots?
For me, you almost have to change it to your playstyle. You have to. Like it's easier for you to change a pilot than it is a playstyle. Like it's literally like learning how to.
Okay, so if that's the case, because everything was nerfed, or everything was changed, then everyone would play that same pilot because it feels like default.
Right. And
Well, I feel like
struggling or need help, Anna, just to give a basis if you're still new in the game and you had it before this update, if you just want to stick to what you knew before, Anna basically didn't change. Like that's the scale of what everything used to be. So if you just want things to go back to what they used to, just play with Anna.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Like Anna, I pointed out to,
but you have to do it with consent.
my teams that that Anna is pretty much a baseline. Right. This is what you are used to. If you're feeling uncomfortable running with something else, just stick to Anna. But it's definitely good to experiment.
She's better because she's a little bit faster.
A bit faster. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Here,
very true.
With which ones we think are OP right now?
Which one? Who do you think is broken?
I have a few. So here's the good news, right? Kruger is one that we get right off the bat. I think he's really strong. That jetpack fuel, especially in the game when you're playing Battle Ball and all these, it's a big deal. So the fact so he's my number 2. He's not my number 1. My number 1 when it comes to being OP is actually Umiko. Because the combination of jetpack fuel is still the same, but it doesn't seem like a lot, but that 10 extra health I think is a huge deal. Plus, you still get that 7.5 speed. So I think she, in my opinion, it doesn't seem like a lot, but that 10 extra health is huge. I would say.
No, that's really good because you're absolutely right because that's gonna beat out something. If somebody has like a thunderstorm,
a nightfall.
I know I keep talking about thunderstorm.
You're very partial to the thunderstorm.
There you go.
Its base damage is 8, right?
There you go.
So you're gonna survive one burst of a thunderstorm shot.
Yep. Big
with
deal.
Yumiko, just a little bit longer to get that ball into the hoop.
No, I mean, think about it this way, right? Think about somebody if they had Ruthless, right? And somebody, let's say the ball carrier has Kruger, the defender has Ruthless, right? And normally, typically, when you both go in the air, like the defender is trying to wait out the shot to block it, right? But now Kruger has 40 extra jetpack to where eventually Ruthless is gonna fall, and now you can just hang up there and take your time and make that shot.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's huge. I mean, I'm not even sure if people even thought about it that way. Again, I'm giving you guys a chance at a little bit of strategy here that I've been already thinking about, but that's huge.
Think about it in percentages too. That's 50% extra fuel for Kruger versus Ruthless. 50%. That's insane.
And if you think of it, right? So I mean, it's there's so many, and that's one thing I actually at first I hated this. I'm not gonna lie, the update because it's like you were scrambling. It was like, oh my god, which character am I now? But there's a lot of genius behind this. The players now matter. It's you're adding a different layer of strategies that teams have to adjust to, and I think it makes it even fun for players. And here's the one thing I'll tell you that I really appreciate about Armor Jet. They give you an amazing guns to start out, specifically the Black Tusk, right? Tournament players still use that Black Tusk. It's an amazing gun. That's not pay to play. You get that, right? Kruger, I would say, is number 2 in my mind, but debatably number 1 player. And you get him right off the bat. So the fact that Armajet is doing this, I'm grateful for it because a lot of times with games, you have to wait way later, to get these amazing players, and you're just at a disadvantage. But that's not the case here, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
If anything, for the pilots that you get later, like Ruthless or Jackal, there's a lot of trade-off with them.
Yeah.
Ruthless is going to have high base HP, so he can go toe-to-toe with you really good, short range. But the thing is that you have to consider if you're playing Ruthless is people can run away from you quicker.
Yep.
You can't catch up to them. So you have to actually have a weapon that's long range with high damage per second to be able to get people who are faster than you.
I totally agree.
Yeah, it just changed.
So
this game got very deep, very fast.
Mindset, more skill. More thought it is.
I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of thoughts. I don't think you'll see it perfected this weekend or tomorrow. I don't think you'll see a perfected lineup, but I am interested to see the lineups that people present and which lineups people are going to start copying based on what they see.
Can we talk about the new character, 1337? What are people's thoughts about his stats?
It's
Did you call it 1337?
That's his name, no?
His name is
You might as well call him 1337 then.
I call him 1337.
Right. A lot of people call him 1337. I call him Leet because that's what that's what they're spelling. Right?
Yeah, 1337.
But we got 1337 over here. Talk about him. What do you think?
I don't know. He just kind of blends into me. He's nothing special. Here's the thing, though, and this is what people have to remember. Right now, I would say, no matter what you think of them, you got to get them. It's really, right, if you want to bring back Pokemon, it's like that. And I would only say it because you're leaving it up to the developers later, because they could always change the meta. If they want to give one of these players a bump and you don't get him right now, you are so screwing yourself, in my opinion. So I haven't even got him yet. I haven't really prioritized survival, but I'm definitely not, like, downplaying and be like, oh, I'm not gonna get it. It's whatever. No, they could change the meta and they could give them a bump in health by 20 if they wanted to for whatever reason. And now you are screwed because you don't have them.
Yeah, I think Leet is more of a nostalgia thing for a lot of players, especially like the old school heads. I know when they saw that leak, everybody was like, "Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait!" Like, I mean, that's that was a big talk for them. I agree. I don't see anything like that's subpar about or that's stand out about him. Like I've flown him around and I give him a whirl, but like
I can imagine him being viable together with the super shield, maybe.
Yeah, his shield is strong. He has the strongest shield, right?
He has the strongest shield, yes.
He's tied with the strongest shield, yeah.
Right.
What speed is it? 7
players? It's 7, right?
Yeah, speed is 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, his,
Yes.
Yeah, it is 7.
Okay.
Yeah, for a robot, you gotta be heavy.
Yeah, and there are actually a couple of players in the competitive scene who still use the super shield, especially ball carriers.
Yep.
So
Big
that
time.
might be a possible choice for ball carriers.
Yeah.
But still, it's still in development. We gotta figure it out what pilot is the best in certain roles, and I think that will come within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
with this new meta in mind, right? So this is a conversation Woody and I had before, and I think Lucas posted it as well in the suggestions. With this new meta, during the ban stages, not for this battle gym, but for the next one, should there be added a ban stage for pilots?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I said yes as well. Not for this one.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like at later stages of this tournament for the battle gym, we could do bans for pilots, but I feel like definitely this weekend, just leave it. Maybe even for the next one. I feel like let it play out. Let's see, as a tournament organizers, and like commentators, we can look at it and see if some pilots are OP. Then it's worth putting in pilot ban.
Or what if you make it? You still only have 2, and they get to choose ultimates, weapons, or pilot bans, but they gotta choose only 2.
No, I mean that's
why not?
doable.
No,
I feel like banning a pilot adds another layer of complexity to competition, and for people that love competitions, I mean, I'm a very competitive person. I hate losing. I don't care if it's an argument, a thumb wrestle. I don't care. I hate losing.
I will vouch for the losing of the argument. He is not a fan of that.
I am not, and I think
but you lose so you do it so easily.
Just my competitive side coming out, like I just think, like having a pilot ban makes your opponent have to think harder about how they're gonna ban ultimates, how are they gonna ban secondaries or primaries. It just adds another layer to it, to where I mean, if you slip up on the pilot ban, none of your other bans will really matter, like realistically. So like I said, it adds another layer of complexity to the game, and like I said, as a competitor, I definitely think there should be a pilot ban. But again, this is gonna have to go through the whole committee and everything just to make sure we can iron everything out. But oh, look at that kid. You sure that's your kid?
Yeah, right? Seriously. Hey, you know what? I know we are in great times, but I think you guys chose the right donor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Yale.
Yeah. So,
why does he look like Night Raid? Jeez.
Yeah, so Woody, I told you. I told you that in good faith. All right. So let's move on, right?
But no, I disagree. I disagree about pilot bans, and hear me out on this, right? So you have positions in football or soccer, or that you're strong. You're particularly strong. You're in this role because you're strong at this role. So let's just say if Ruthless is the new goalie because he can pound, like, stop bullets from hitting him and be able to kill people because he has more health and things, then you're gonna see those roles come out like, oh, he's playing Ruthless. It looks like he's a goalie, or he's more of a forward. He's the goal scorer, and he's choosing Anna being 7-5. It would be really interesting to see those kind of play out. So you see someone like Elsif, who's the ball carrier for the most part. Like, if it's Anna, then you're going to see other ball carriers be Anna because of how fast they are and so on and so forth. So I wouldn't want to ban that. I think that's kind of like one of those beautiful things that it's very obvious that they're being the ball carrier. And at that, then you have strategy saying, well, because you might be able to notice the skin faster than the name, but if you see the skin, it's Anna. You're like, oh well, let's make sure she dies. We're gonna focus a little more efforts on her. So there is still a lot of strategy involved. It'd be really interesting to see how organically it becomes.
All right, you ready for me? Because
I
already got a ton of stuff that just flowed through my mind. All right, so by having, let's say, established positions, right? All you're gonna see is the same. Every team run the same pilots then for every match, and that's just gonna get boring because somebody's gonna say, all right, Ruthless is the best goalie. Now everybody's gonna run Ruthless. Anna's the best ball carrier. Everybody's gonna run Anna. Let's just say.
But you don't know that yet because we're not allowing the meta. You're not allowing the meta to form on that. If you remove it now, you're not gonna see it.
But you're not removing the meta because, again, the meta is the pilot stats. It is not the pilot skin. It is the stats. And by you banning a pilot because you're like, all right, this pilot's going to give us trouble for what we're trying to run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or this team really depends on this pilot to succeed. If we take that out from them, what else can they do to us?
But what you're losing is if you remove it out of competitive play, let's just say you remove the bans out of, you include bans in competitive play, you're going to lose the opportunity to find out the OP skit, like the OP pilots with the roles that they play in. So Ruthless being a great goaltender or whatever. So you're going to lose that knowledge, that information, like, oh, we know that Ruthless is this. Or we know Anna is the best at this and that type of playing in battle ball, whether you're kind of a mid.
So let me say this, right?
So you're gonna lose that opportunity.
So think about this, right? During the banning phase, frag grenades are generally banned, right? Why is that? Because like it's OP,
I'm
right?
sorry.
It is something that is that's real. That is something that is fantastic. So that's why it is banned. Now that's just like saying, all right, let's not put a ban on secondaries. Or, I mean, what's the point of putting a ban on secondaries then? Because now you're saying, like, if you want to see metas or whatever actually form, to your point, like, what's the point?
Where do you think the bans came from? They figured out what the meta was when they're playing, and then you started adding more bans on top of bans. And that's because a meta had formed.
But so the meta is already the pilots.
No, what I mean is, like, you're saying
your job as a competitive team is to stop that formation.
Yeah.
Or stop it from forming. Right. Or figuring out to figure out the meta first. And then to stop other teams from trying to either copy your meta or to prevent them from doing what they're really good at in the meta. Yeah. That's the point of a ban, is to stop to strategize.
I'm interested in Sean. Sean wants to talk. I see him. He's biting his lip on this, and he's waiting to go. I'm curious. He hasn't. What do you think?
I would change the question a little. If let's say we didn't ban the pilots for like 2 weeks, and we found out that no pilot was superior to the other, would you still ban them?
I would.
Yep.
Because again, it would still be strategy.
No, but he just said that he just said that it didn't matter. Like although pilots have different stats, but we found out after 2 weeks that we didn't notice a pattern of, this person being really good being a forward versus defense or whatnot. He's saying, would you ban it still just because you have the ability to ban it? Would you?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that would
Because
be. So what he's saying is that
forces a team to change their strategy or adjust, and that is where the true competition comes in.
So I think what Rezon's getting at is if it was before the new stats on pilots, would you ban the pilot? That's almost where it's getting to that question.
No, because he's not. Because
actually, it is. That's what was his question,
patch, right?
I'm just saying.
So prior to this patch, right? Everybody's pilot stats were exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So because everybody's stats are the same, there was no point in banning the pilots.
Absolutely.
Because now pilots have their individual stats, and there's no two pilots that are exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, it does add a complexity to add a banning phase for the pilots. Because now, again, if a team is banking on this one pilot to be there, and you ban it out, now it's gonna challenge that team to figure out either a new strategy, or put Plan B into effect to move without that pilot.
But what makes the thing interesting about bans, let's just say, for the ban, there's no bans, you have a meta, right? There's a meta of gameplay just based on the stats because there's no bans, club matches, whatever. When you get to the point where you have competitive play and you have bans, like we have, like other esports have had for bans with specific, like especially MOBAs, right? That's where you see most bans. Then that becomes a meta too. There's a meta of banning that occurs, right?
Yep.
Characters that are picked up. There's like, okay, first round, this is what's always banned on the first round, okay? Or in our case, it's going to be primaries. This is what's usually banned in primaries. Oh, why are they banning this? Oh, because this team is known for running Black Tusk more often. Oh, why are they banning this pilot? Oh, because this team has got the ball carrier, is like always being used as rogue because of her shield or whatever, Like they rely on that shield. They always need that exo shield. So we ban out the rogue. Okay, so then that becomes a meta versus that team. But it gives us something to talk about, which is good,
Right.
And then it allows us to see who the truly competitive teams are with the strategy like you're talking about, Night Raid, with the banning and how they're able to utilize the bans to succeed where maybe they normally wouldn't, or vice versa, where a team is already powerful, like last week we saw the Phenoms, right, come out on top. With bans on pilots, let's just say we implemented it this weekend, will they be able to come out on top again?
Right. So like I said, I just think it just adds another layer of complexity to the competition, and I think the more layers that you have, the more competitive it's going to get. Just like Trumpkin said, he said, "I feel like banning the pilots would improve the competition. It truly proves which team is the best." And I do too, because again, a team that can make the best adjustments is generally the better team, or generally will come up with the better team. Now, again, it does matter on the skill of the person, but or the skill of the team as a whole. But I think that little bit of change could definitely change the landscape of the standing.
But I believe that pilot bans are not as crucial as map bans.
Yeah, I don't think.
So see, that's another thing we can look at, right? Map bans.
Map bans, yes. This is what we missed basically back in Skyros even, because there were just so many maps that we just really were bad in comparison to other teams, and it would also add a whole new level of competition in general. That's my opinion.
That's a good point that you bring that up, Rez, and I remember that now during the Forge League tournaments. There would be some conversation points we would talk about, like, oh, hey, on Canyon, we haven't seen so-and-so team be able to win beyond 30% of the time. So them going on Canyon could be a bit of an upset, blah blah blah, whatever, right? So map bans are also very important too when it comes to competitive play. The maps are not equal. Some of them are lopsided. Some of them you have a clear advantage on A side or B side.
No, I agree. And again, like I just want feedback so that way, for the Invitational, it's gonna have almost a different set of rules. But I'm not gonna change. We don't plan on changing a whole ton, but there's gonna be some tweaks here and there to make it as the most competitive that we see, or competitive competition that we can make it. Because again, I mean, right now we're playing for at least $1,200. It's gonna keep growing, hopefully. And I mean, I feel like you, as the winning team, you are gonna be tested and gone through the ringer to claim that cash. So, yeah.
What I also worry about too is.
I agree.
What I also worry too is like, if we're going to add this ban, that ban, this ban, that ban, we're just in season one's near the end. We're almost done it. Let's not make so many damn changes that we don't have anything new to bring in season 2. So I think I think let's not change too much. Let's end season 1 on what we've been playing with thus far. I don't think adding map bans right now is a good idea. At least until season 2. So, let's have a real conversation about that.
Right. And I see what you're saying, and I totally agree to where we should hold some stuff off for season 2, but there are definitely things that I feel like should be definitely implemented, and so that way we can iron it out by season.
So yeah, because what ends up happening, let's just say you throw map bans in this weekend. We have the same 3 maps that are played every time. What happens? Like, then you have to go through the whole, well, what map replaces the 2 that got removed, or the 1 that got removed?
Well, I mean, that rule just would go out the window of the same 3 maps. That would just go out the window. That you would just go through the banning phase.
Well, that's what I mean. So that's changing the entire flow that we've had for the last.
No, but we're not even discussing maps. We're not even discussing adding map bans to, let's say, season 1. Right?
Okay.
Possibly for the Invitational, but I'm already telling you, for season 1 there will be no map ban. Man, like, I'm just telling you, because I think that'd just be too much, especially if we were planning on possibly doing pilot bans. Like, I just think it would just be too much.
Okay, so you agree then?
To
it's too much.
Right. So I agree, at least as far as doing the map bans. But again, we're gonna round back to pilot bans, you and I and Juski and Secret and the other members. But yes, we will definitely be coming back to this because I think it is definitely an important conversation for us to have.
It's a hot topic.
Yeah,
it is.
It's hot. It's sweaty.
I told you it gets sweaty in here.
So
all right. So
let's
next.
If you'd like to, I don't know if you're about to hit this up, but I think we should. I know our boy Rezon here needs to take off potentially early.
Right.
I was gonna say let's get into Rezon here and.
Yes, absolutely.
He's just sitting there quietly in a dark room.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us what you did after leaving Sky Rose and why you chose to join Terminus.
All right. Where shall I start exactly?
Well, my mom
so
and my dad.
Way back, like where I started, for example.
I mean, wherever you feel comfortable starting. I mean, this is your time.
All right. Okay. So I found out about Armajet on Instagram. And I firstly downloaded it on mobile, and I immediately fell in love with it. And just a couple days after I downloaded it, I figured out it was also available on Steam. It was around 1.2, I think, 1.2 or 1.3. And I played some games, I played more, and I also eventually got into the Discord server, got into the community, and there I started to climb up the ladder, basically. I started out in Team CAC and played some good games with them, had a good time. And there I met Houdini, one of my most influential player. had some really good duo runs with him. We also joined Tribe Gaming for a short time back in Scorpia. I think you remember, Sean, right?
I do. I remember calling those tournaments. I was actually at Humanist's house when I was doing
Oh,
that tournament, which is pretty
yeah.
crazy. If you recall Humanist from the Vainglory Esports days.
It was really crazy.
That was a fun
Good times, good
tournament,
times.
and I think I was with Imperium casting that tournament. We had a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was Imperium, right? Yeah, yeah. It was also the first really major tournament back then that we had.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
For Armajet Esports, that was like I think that was the first big esports tournament. Yeah, it was like at the time it was the biggest prize pool, like a couple $100.
Yeah,
Something
right.
like that, right?
And Razer earbuds, I think.
Oh yeah.
For the first
right.
place.
Sponsoring it.
Right. So yeah, after Scorpia, me and Houdini left Tribe, and we got in talks with Bad Skyros. And we three decided to create Skyros, basically. So we are originally the founders of it. And we started out playing with Archer, Draco, and Seeker. Yeah, it was just us 7, I think. And then Full came, Benji, and yeah, that was basically the creation of Skyros. And yeah, I also don't want to. I mean, you all know Skyros and what we achieved and whatnot. So yeah, that's
You
basically
guys
let's
were
talk-
one of the best
Yep.
well-known team. You were like the household names in Armageddon.
No, absolutely.
Esports. It was always you and Hammers that were neck and neck in every tournament, every weekend. It would always
Yeah.
it was the hot topic between you two. Who would win? Who would one up the other?
I mean, there were a couple teams that really did great. For example, Fairy Tail. Also back then, they really did good with Knodelbach. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh yeah,
I think he stopped
Nuddlebach.
playing.
Yeah, I remember him.
Knodelbach, yeah.
Mhm.
There was Swift Esports. They also did really decent. But yeah, in general, Skyros, Hammers, it was always the rivalry between them. So yeah.
So is the new rivalry Hammers and Phenoms?
I would say so.
Well,
I would say
what
so.
I'm hearing is Firetail should not be slept on, so maybe it's not.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing that a lot myself.
Don't sleep on
From what
Firetail is what I'm hearing.
From what I hear, it sounds like Fiery Tail has improved very, very much. I'm a part of the Fiery Tail clan in game, but I'm not a part of their competitive scene at all. And it's really good to see Fiery Tail progressing because they were always like a tier 2 team when it came to the competitive scene when I was casting before. And so now to see them on the leaderboards, they were top 3 in the last battle gym. That's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
No, they've been improving, and they just picked up some guys that's going to help them improve even more. So it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary to see. Should be a very interesting one, Sean.
They got Archer and Benji, and that just shows a lot. They really will be a big threat in the next tournaments, definitely.
I believe that they have them split. They're not even playing together.
So,
Oh,
what kind of led you to join Terminus? I mean, I'm pretty sure you could have had your own your pick of the litter. What kind of led you to Terminus?
Yeah, it wasn't really me joining them. It was basically them joining me, because
Right,
I
okay.
also got
Yeah,
I also got Light and Samo in my team, and they're both in Team Tribe.
Oh, nice.
And we were in talks with them, like, do you want maybe to join Terminus and, you know, leave Tribe? Because they're not as active anymore. But they, like, we had these talks, and we just thought that we would take the name Terminus for the points and play as Terminus. Yeah, but we didn't really join Terminus as clan members or team members.
All right.
It is just solely for the
To keep the
it's just only
positioning.
right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean it makes sense. Opposed to having, let's say, breaking Terminus up and then them joining you in your new team. I mean, yes, I understand like Terminus joins you, but why not join Terminus to keep their standing in points, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean that makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I think we started play 6 with 20 points. And logically it's just better than starting up from scratch with 0. Right?
No, absolutely. Especially with only 3 weeks left, or 3 events left, a month and a half left till the invitational. Like I said, for teams that are now joining, like they have to kind of come out with a bang to make the invitational. Like they have to, like, within the next 3 tournaments, they at least have to place in the top 3 to really have a legitimate shot at making the invitational. So yeah, no, I mean I think it was a smart move by you. So yes, so I saw that.
I think 3 out of the I think 3 players
you
of the 4 moved over.
You, Delight, and Samo. So I was very interested to see that Samo and Delight joined you. Because I was very disappointed when Tribe, like, they showed up to the first few tournaments and then they just kind of fizzled out. Like I was kind of disappointed because I was like, man, they can really have something here, but then they just kind of disappeared. So I mean, I'm glad for Delight and Samo to find a team to join. I've looked at your lineup. I mean, it's you, Tribe, or you, Delight, Samo, Jeff Cass, Bambi, and Natural Sky. That's a pretty stellar lineup. Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean we have 3 EU members and 3 NA members.
And that actually helps a lot.
That's great.
It helps a lot, yeah, but we still have to figure out the proper composition, because in my opinion, a full EU team or a full NA team is better than having a mixed team for several reasons. Because it is, for me, it makes more sense to develop a strategy. For example, just take for example our team, me, Delay, Samo, and Bambi. We all gotta work around Bambi on EU servers, right? So we kind of have to push him to make better plays and just be better in general, like on EU servers.
No, absolutely. Because why not take advantage that if we were playing on an EU server using an EU player? Because generally the lag is going to be less, and yeah, absolutely. I definitely get what you're saying.
Exactly, and for me, it just makes sense that having a full EU team is like more logical to work around together on NA servers, just to build up the synergy.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
Yeah, because the game, of course, is not dependent on one individual player, but rather it is a team game, a team play game. And yeah, I still have to figure out what I will do with my team, but yeah.
Well, you have talented players there, so it's not going to be too hard. You guys have played for quite some time, and you're going to naturally you've played together as well, so I don't think you're going to be too hard done by. I think you're downplaying yourself. I think you're downplaying yourself.
I hope so.
In the battle gym, are there server picks?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You guys, that can make a big impact in gameplay.
It does.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, that was actually one thing I admired about Skyrose was that they had their NA and EU players, and they would use them as when those servers were picked, and that was a huge difference, I know, for Skyrose. So
yeah. I mean, back in Skyrose, we had basically every position placed by players that played their position good.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you played on NA, we had like every player play the designated role for each server. So that was a big plus for us. So that way we didn't had any kind of disadvantage on either EU or NA.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense too.
I think the position was just perfect.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Right on.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So what should we expect from Terminus this weekend? Because prior to let me just say this, right? So prior to, I guess, the rebranding, right? Terminus 2 tournaments ago in part 5 finished 4th.
Yeah.
And then this prior one they got knocked out the first round.
Right.
And then now that you're rebranded, retooled, what should we expect? Should we expect a top 4 finish? Maybe the 5th through 8th?
You mean tomorrow or in general?
Yeah, tomorrow. No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I wouldn't expect that much, to be very honest with you. Because we just haven't played that much together, right? And we still need to figure out how to synergize as much as possible. And we still need time. We definitely need time. But I think maybe with a little grain of luck, we can get to the 4th place.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think
nice.
So. If everyone plays their best tomorrow, more than doable, yeah.
Yeah, you hear that, Secret? He said he's taking your 4th place.
Well, I'm not trying to be at 4th place, so he can have that one.
Oh, okay.
I'm laughing, but I'm not even surprised he said that.
So what would you say? So who would you say is like the key cog of your team, if there is one? Like, let's say the person that you guys are trying to work around the most.
Personally, for me, it is Delight. Because he's our support player, and support player in general keeps the game stable.
Yes.
In terms of mid control, in terms of shot calling, in terms of defending, like attacking, just in general, he keeps the game alive and he keeps the game stable. And Delight is doing pretty good at supporting.
Yeah. I almost feel like the support player is like the key of the team for any team. Like, if you have a weak support player, you're probably gonna get shit on. Right. I think because the support player is pretty much filling in any holes that your team needs, whether it be carrying an incendiary or throwing your body in front of a shot, so that way your other players can stay alive and keep extending the plays. I just think I like, me personally, I think that the support player is the key of the team for any team composition. So and luckily I played the support role on my team. So yes, Faye, Pilot, Andy, I'm saying I am the most important player in our team. You guys get all the glory, I understand, but I do the little stuff that nobody notices. And that's the thing. Like, support players never get the glory, right? Because generally they're always bottom on stats. Like they're not gonna get the kills, they're not gonna get the assists or the goals generally, because they're doing the little things to make sure the other people are having success. So if you see a support player that is running a 0 goals, 0 kills, but like 10 deaths, or let's say 7 assists, like, that means the support player did his job. All right. Because that's numbers I normally run. So
the support player basically doesn't play for stats, but he plays for the win.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's the support player's role. It's the momentum of the game. That's like, it's the unsung hero. It's when things are going bad, his job is to get it back to medium, so that way the rest of the players can bring it home. I think that's a funny way to describe it. It's accurate. It's like, when all hell breaks loose, they're the ones that got to bring back to normal, so that way the rest of the team can bring it home.
No, absolutely. And it takes
Lucas, of course. Lucas is just not a human for me.
Yeah.
He is a support player, and he does like crazy amount of kills, and Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, Lucas is a different story, right? Lucas is a different story. He's like a
He used to be one
Yeah,
of the
go-
top 10 all the time on the leaderboards for Armageddon.
Oh, I think he
and,
still is.
No,
He still is.
Really? Top 10? I feel like
no, he's so Sean's talking about Valor. You're talking
Oh.
about like player rankings.
Yeah.
Oh, player rankings.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
5. He's in the 5.
He's definitely top.
He's
definitely
top 5.
Oh yeah.
When it comes to just gameplay and insanity for being a sport player, getting KDA
Yeah, annoying.
Yes, and it takes a strong person to play the support role. Like honestly, it takes a real strong person to play the support role because everybody wants that glory. Like you can't say like you don't want a little bit of shine to you, right? But to play that support role, those shining moments are very far and few. And a lot of people are gonna be like, all right, like I might leave this team because they keep leaving me in the support role, and I want to be more in the spotlight. So like, you have to have a strong mentality to play that support role, and I just think, like I said, yeah, I just think it's very important. So
yeah, definitely. But
absolutely.
we definitely got to work around the like.
So you're good when you're number 1 in assists. Period. In assists. Oh man, I need to run this filter to get that back. Oops, sorry, give me a second here. Yeah, you're that good when you are top 4 in assists per game. You're number 1 in assists overall. And if, I just go based on kills alone, he's number 1. Not in kill death, like the kills per game, but no, Lucas is there too. So it's like he is huge, but his goals are 7, right? And that's not even terrible, to be honest. That's mid of the pack, and actually your numbers are very similar, Rezon, too, along those boards.
I don't think that's the primary role.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's in top 10 in there is pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sadly couldn't play that much games with Terminus because I would have loved to see some stats from the past TPGs because that would vary a lot.
Ooh.
Well, if we just talked about, so you played no, sorry, hang on a sec. You played 8 games and your kills per game was 11.38 in the two tournaments that we've actually tracked the stats.
Right.
That puts you right at the top, right next to Lucas, and maybe people might find this surprising. Nox third. We like to shit on Nox, but he's great.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
He is a great player, but everyone likes to shit on him.
Alright,
So I figured I'd go for it.
Taking credit for that. Like he is really. I would even say one of the top 5 players, hands down.
Debatable. Yeah. No, but I'm not saying that like a bad thing. Like you would have to have him in the debate. I would say that.
Yeah.
You know what?
No, you could definitely put up there.
If we're looking for topics for next week's, why don't we chart, let's say, top 30 players in the game right now, or top 20 or something?
Funny enough,
I'm just saying.
The next guest is gonna have a very hard time going into the Armajet community.
I think that'd be fun.
Funny enough, guys, I've made a list of
There you go.
my personal top 20 players.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
I better damn be on that list. Just for my
let's hear. So you already have it, right?
Just for
You
my
have it in front of you.
entertainment.
Let's talk about it.
Hold on, I'm gonna.
Oh, he's going into Google Docs right now. He's gonna pull it up.
Pull it up,
Alright.
dude. I want to hear those.
Okay, I don't necessarily want to reveal the places because I'm probably gonna
Readjust.
publish
Get
it
spammed?
on Reddit after the invitation.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
What do you have in the list?
I got
And not in order, obviously.
not in order.
Yeah. Well, that's what you said,
Andy?
right? You didn't want to reveal the order.
Because
Right.
if you're reading it, then we're gonna know one way or the other, right?
That's why I'm mixing it up. Yeah.
We're gonna be
Yeah.
like, these feel like worst to best.
Hey, listen. Here, take your list
So,
and then sort it by name, and then
Yeah, sort it by name.
then you have alphabetical.
Yeah, sort
Okay,
it by
yeah.
name, not by order.
I can do that. All right.
Yeah,
So,
dude, I'm in IT. I know this shit. I'm good.
okay, I have Archer,
Okay.
Aimless Andy. I got Braun.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't play anymore. That might change in the
That may
future.
finish.
Yeah, I got Benji. I got Bad. I got Draco-san, Delich. I forgot Billy the Kid. And
Billy the Kid is really good. I just feel like he's one of the unsung heroes. Like he really doesn't get that much shine on his name. But I've said
Yeah.
his name a lot during Path because he pulls off some outrageous plays.
because
I
he doesn't
agree.
play that often, sadly. He only shows up in tournaments. He doesn't really play pubs and pickup games. And that's really sad because I think he would even be way better if he played more. But he sadly only just shows up in tournaments.
No, I agree. So you're at 9. You have 9 people so far. You still got 11 more to go.
He's writing all of this
alright.
down, by the way.
I got Faye, I got Pilot, I got Bleach, Seeker, Inspiral, Ubiquitous, and yeah, definitely. I think with some proper training sessions, he can be a really strong top 20 player, definitely.
That's
Yeah,
crazy because Ubiquitous Secret found him. Secret found him like when he first started playing the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he brought him over to the Sweaty Synergy University, and then from the university, he said, "Hey, Night Raid, you have to look at this guy." He said, "You have to look at this guy because he needs to be on the icons." And I was like, "Fine, I'll trust your judgment." So I looked at him and I was like, "Shit, like this guy, it looks like he has like a very high ceiling." So yeah, but it's very impressive because I think total time Ubiquitous has probably put in what, like 2 months? Secret, like right about 2 months. He's only been in the game for like 2 months, and for him to be that high, like in the your top 20 already, like that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of potential for Ubiquitous.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And there are actually 2 missing.
Yep.
It's actually Night Raid.
What?
Yes, and Gravis.
Oh,
Gravis.
Yeah.
I didn't make it. Oh, that's because I don't play competitive. That's right. I should have been in there as a participation award, at least.
Now, I want to make sure that I heard it correctly because I don't think I heard also for Lucas's name in there, did I?
Yeah, because they're arguably number 1 and number 2.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. Because I was like, I don't think I heard their name in there. But dang, I can't believe I made that list. I'm so honored. Thank you. Yeah.
I even wrote like small articles to every player, and
I can't wait for this. Yeah, I can't wait for this Reddit post. Yes, I can't.
Jeez.
But yeah, as I just said, it can change in the next few weeks.
No, absolutely right. Because I mean, as teams are working even harder now for that $1,200 and growing prize money, like you might see somebody kind of overtake somebody from that 30 to 20 spot that you may have, or you know what I mean. So, and then or somebody might retire, out of nowhere. So you never know. But yeah, absolutely. I am excited for that Reddit post. And how do they find you on Reddit, Rezon? Is it the same as your Twitter and your in-game?
I think my username on Reddit is Speculicious.
Speculicious.
Yeah.
All right.
he now regrets that.
I,
Instant regret.
I was called Echo back then.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now, I think we grew up enough of or people have been waiting for this moment. I think people are ready to see the bracket drawing, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a good thing too, because we would have had to do this whole other thing because we only had 11 teams, but we got a team in last minute, so it's great. I'm just gonna switch the scene here. Okay, there we go. Now we're good. Oh yeah, that's because I switched scenes and my mic wasn't on. Thank you. And they can't hear you, and now they can. All right, we're good. We're doing all right.
Hey, what's up, Renovo?
Renovo's here. Renovo is this is Armajet primarily, but Renovo is going to be helping us with coaching our new team we're putting together, which is Valorant competitive team. So
Yes.
we'll see how that works out for us. We're trying it.
He said, "Yeah, no audio at the moment."
I have no audio. That's very interesting because I'm seeing my mic bounce all over the place.
Audio is back.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's on you then. Okay, so we have our 12 participants as you see them here. There we go. Phenoms, hammers. Actually, no, sorry. We still do have to do the silly thing that I was talking about. I'll explain that shortly.
Yes, but it's only for one spot, though.
It's only for one spot. Yeah.
So, let me just explain this, right? So I think with the current 12 teams, there is a need for 4 buys. So usually we do the top 4 teams, but unfortunately, Skyrose, again, we all know what happened with that. Let's not beat it to death. We need to find a replacement team for the 4th spot. So we thought the fairest way to do it was to take the 4 teams that finished 5th through 8th at the last event and just do a random draw to see who ever gets the higher seed out of those 4 teams will get that 4th bye. Fair enough, right? I think that makes sense. So
Yeah.
So that's what we're going with.
Yeah, we are. And so let me just bring it back here in the points. So this is based actually on the 5th placed finishers, not 5, 6, 7, 8. Just their placement was 5th because they were knocked out of the second round. And so so those folks would be XOZ, SSE Icons, Fiery Tail, Inferno, and THC. So they're going to be fighting for that bye to the second round. And so I have randomly given, not randomly, but whatever, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to choose randomly using random.org. For the minimum number to be generated is 1, the max number is 4. When I hit generate, that's the number, that's the person who's going to slide into 4th place for tomorrow's tournament. And I'm going to click it now. 4. Okay, and who was our 4th? THC gets a free buy and some points with that too. So congratulations, you won the lottery. So
Congratulations.
So we'll add.
We've got 2 teams. One is THC, the other one is BD.
They're part of the same organization.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, they're part of
It's
this.
the big brother, little brother situation for them. The
Yeah.
THC CBD is part of the one same organization, but I think THC is their A team, and then CBD would be considered their B team.
Yeah,
Which I
exactly.
guess in real life, that's kind of how it works too, right?
There you go. So, all right, guys. So now that we have this locked in, so just as a reminder, what we do is we use challenge to shuffle the seeds. We do it 5 times, and then we move the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place victors from last tournament into their places ahead so that they get their buys appropriately, and then we have a bracket. So Oh, Sean with the follow. Thank you, sir. And I just also want to give a shout out for Renovo Live. And the one thing that we didn't do yet is give a huge shout out to Firetail and Oddsfish for throwing $50 into the donation pool.
Nice. Nice.
That happened 4 days ago. I don't remember when. Like it was, we weren't even on stream to say hey. So, thank you very much. And Casey is hosting us. Thank you, Casey. All right, so let's shuffle the seeds. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. All right, so funny, Phenoms is already up here. I don't have to do anything. Less work. Jeez,
Man, I guess Challenge is already predicting where we're gonna finish.
And sorry, I'm just gonna double check here. Who was third? Was Firetail Belevi. All right, so here we go. We have our 1 through 12, and I'm gonna just move over to the bracket here, and we're gonna see what's going down. I'm gonna lock it in, so start the tournament. Then we can't make mistakes. All right, so here we are. We have XOZ against Fatal Execution. Brand new team, full of pickups, so that should be interesting to talk about. We got Sweaty Synergy Apex versus Firetail Inferno. Easy Dragons versus Icons. Another new team, Bit Odyssey versus Terminus. So, and then of course, you know, the second round, Phenoms versus XOZ or Fatal Execution. THC possibly against Apex or Inferno. Hammers Esports, potentially Easy Dragons or Icons. And Firetail Blevy is going to have Odyssey or Terminus. So this is going to be like another interesting matchup to see how the chips fall in this one.
No, I definitely agree. I do think the second round matchups, no matter how it falls, is going to be good. I mean, just looking in the future. But let's talk about the first round, right? Let's talk about XOZ and Fatal Execution. I will say that Fatal Execution is a last-minute team. It was a bunch of free agents that kind of wanted to play in the tournament. So I don't know too much about them. I haven't had a chance to really do any research, so I'm sorry I can't really talk about their players. But let's talk about XOZ, right? XOZ, I know last tournament finally broke that first round barrier. I know they were having so much trouble, especially after the first battle gym where they finished third place. I think realistically, like with Noxus, Casey's, Cream T1000 or 100 or T something. I think that's another guy that's up and coming. I think this is gonna be an easy 2-0 win. So I mean that's just my opinion, but I'm pretty sure you guys all feel the same way.
This is how he wins arguments. I'm sure you all feel the same way.
I know that it sounds like it's a different roster compared to the previous tournament that I cast with XOZ in it, but I remember when XOZ first came on the scene and they were brand spanking new, they still surprised us with some victories and upsets over some of the top T1 teams. Pretty crazy. So if Noxus is heading the way, and you know, Rezon, you were talking about how Noxus is one of those top players in the world for you, I feel like he's going to be able to lead them to victory and get into.
Fantastic.
And well, and just to add to that, Sean, they do have Casey, who's arguably one of their better players as well. So, and he's 30 as I understand, he's 30% less toxic too. So it's even better.
That's 5% more than last Saturday.
I know, right? He's getting better.
He's more toxic than Noxus?
I think that's why they're on the same team now.
They make a very scary pair, especially when they are just in one of those moods, right? But
yeah.
Yes, you found Noxus version 2.0.
Yeah, this is the younger version.
The emote like up the wazoo when they're playing, or what?
Casey has actually improved a lot on it, but yeah.
He used to be really bad. He used to be really bad. Like emoji spamming and yeah. No, it's good times. Good times. All right. So in regards to just, I'm gonna say 2-0. I don't know any of the guys out of Fatal Execution. But this is great though because they're all random. These guys have some competitiveness behind them. They haven't played as a team, so we're gonna not. You have to have synergy in Battle Ball, 100%. So it'll be interesting that people are going to watch this, see the play, and maybe start picking them up. They might be already part of clans right now or teams, but those could be, just casual teams because they all kind of started together and they saw themselves because they were low in the Valor. So I'll be curious to see if anyone sees anything great that comes out of this and start snagging those guys real fast. But I think 2-0 as well, sir.
Rezon or Secret?
Yeah, I think this is an easy one for me. So 2-0. So Z. Yeah. I wish the other guys well. I want them to continue to play and maybe find more stability and a more stable team. And but yeah, 2-0.
Awesome. Rezon, you still there?
He turned off the light. Now it's all black in there.
Alright. So let's go to the next matchup then, right? SSC Apex versus Fiery Tail Inferno. Now,
you don't want Sean's input?
Is that the team with which team is Latex on? That's what I need to find out. Is he on Blevy or Inferno?
Who? Sorry, who?
Latex.
Latex is with Fiery Tail.
The former.
I thought.
Latex is Blevy.
Blevy, yeah.
I believe.
Blevy, okay.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, he's.
So Fiery Tail versus the Inferno versus Apex. Who would like to take this one first?
Let's not all jump.
No takers?
I don't know. I know Fiery Tail, but I don't know Fiery. No, who's on that team?
So we have Unreal FX as the captain. We have Zanzel, Trumpkin, Snake, and Archer.
Oh, Archer, yeah. Archer's there. That's pretty big. Trumpkin too. I'm familiar with him. He previously played on Fiery Tail. So I'm okay. What about? I don't know how well 2070 Apex performed previous. So for me, that's kind of like a toss-up. But hearing that Archer's on the team for Fiery Tail, that's the only thing in my mind that would be holding me back is how well is he synergizing with his new team member.
Yeah, I think they've been playing together a lot. I've been seeing them on together quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Fiery Tail has a solid team. I mean, and they only got better with the addition of Archer.
And a few other
But yeah, I mean, they had Zanzo last one. I think Archer's. So I know they did a little bit of shake-up to kind of conform this team again. So I'm a firm believer of having a steady roster. I tried this method of trying to just mix people in, and I remember when we first started, like I had 10, 12 players that wanted to play competitive. And we tried that mixing method, and it didn't quite work for us. So I'm a firm believer now of, this is your team, you're stuck with him, do or die. Like, I mean, if you don't want to die, go do practices, go do something positive with your team, go do some shots, go do some laps around the map. I don't care, go do. So yeah, I don't know. Like, this new meta is definitely gonna be crazy. And as much as I want to pull for my Apex, I'm gonna go with Inferno 2-1.
I'd go with the
Woody.
same. I like Apex a lot. I just seen Inferno play quite a bit. I think with the addition with Archer is also a pretty big deal as well. 2-1.
I know that it's a bit of a shake-up with Apex. I don't know I haven't played a lot this week, so I don't know who has actually been running hard this week or not. So I don't know if Apex has been. And actually, you guys had there was a scrim between you two, eh? So how did that go?
Between us?
Apex Icon. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys had a scrim recently.
Between Apex and Icons, or between Icons and...
No,
No, Apex and
scrim
Icon.
between
Talk about
you,
Apex,
between you guys, and yeah.
We didn't. I don't think we scrimmed against each other. I think we scrimmed against XOZ, and we swapped teams in and out.
Okay.
I know White's a bit better against. Oh wait, no, it was the High Chiefs. That's who it was. We scrimmed against the High Chiefs, and we rotated Apex and Icons in and out.
Oh,
So
okay, that's what you guys did. Okay.
Scrim against each other directly, but I will tell you, when Icons scrimmed in, we did really well. Apex seemed to kind of, it was a back and forth fight. So.
Okay, and so because of that answer, I'm actually, and I hate to crap on my guys, but it's I think 2-0. I think 2-0. I think it's going to be a close 2-0. I don't think it's going to be like a blowout 3-0 by any means, but I think it'll be 2-0, but it's going to be close. Both matches.
I think Firetail is putting together some good teams. And they're practicing together a lot too. It's not just about the players. They're putting a lot of effort in.
So what are you thinking, Sean? You think Firetail or Apex?
Or Apex?
Yes, Firetail or Apex.
I'm thinking Firetail. I want to lean more towards Firetail. That's taking that one. Is it best of 3?
First rounds, yeah, best of 3.
Yeah. So maybe 2-1.
Okay. And Rezon laptop died, so that's why we lost him.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, and his mobile device isn't functioning. Like, we had mic issues with his mobile earlier before we got started, and he switched to his laptop. So we can have him back, but just no voice, none of that beautiful voice. So
I'm just letting you know. I just saw a message from Juski that said, "F Night Raid. I'm ready to put in hours tonight." So, right.
That's awesome.
Just letting you know, Inferno, I pissed off my Jedi mind tricks working with Apex right now, so be prepared.
That's awesome. All right.
Next matchup,
so the next matchup is going to be Easy Dragons and Icons.
Ooh, I like this one. Who'd like to start this one off? No takers? No takers? I'll start it off then. So, I think Icons definitely have improved, right?
Yeah, well, they picked up a new guy.
Draco.
This like low level player that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah.
They picked up Draco, I think, which is humongous.
So Draco is on Icon. That's pretty big.
Yes. So and Icons, I think we had this conversation last week. Like, we said that Icons is kind of going to be taking over that fiery tail role of when Skyrose used to be. It used to be like Hammer, Skyrose, Phenoms, and some type of mix.
Yeah.
And then there was Fiery Tail. And now I think it's going to be like, we all thought that Icons was going to take that place now, but I think especially with that Draco ad, I think I don't know. And me and Blank just made up too, and I really don't want to pick, not pick his team because I really like his team, but I'm gonna have to give it to my boys Icons 2-1.
All right.
Who's on Easy Dragons?
Easy Dragons got Kermani, Blank, Superfly, and Schwain.
I've seen Kermani a lot in pubs, and he's even invited me to his party a couple. Good dude. He's got high valor. Good player.
I mean, they
Oh,
have a
absolutely.
solid team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but with Draco, that's kind of like that's dropped the mic right there. So I'm gonna have to give it to Icon. I'm gonna lean towards a 2-0.
Ooh, 2-0. Like, I mean, if you look at the roster, like the Icons roster, they have 2 of Rezon's top 20 in there. So, just saying.
He says Easy D 2-0. Is that what you got, Sean?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, what you said? Oh, so Easy Dragon has Draco?
No, we do.
No, I'm talking about Icon.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you said
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you went the other way. My apologies.
Yeah, no problem.
Secret.
I
Not
love-
that you're the captain of the Icons by any means, but
Yeah, a little bit. No, I love Blank. I love X. Like I said, I love Easy Dragons. Like I said, they were actually the first team I ever on. So I have a lot of respect for them. I think we played them before. Here's the one thing I'll say. They're an amazing team. I just think we're in a different level of focus this week than I think we've ever been. And like I said, it's nothing against them, but it's 2-0, and if we don't, we're going to be severely upset. So it's just we've just been putting a lot of work. They're an amazing team, though. They could give us a lot of problems, and honestly, I'm really grateful that we're going up against them, because one way or another, I think they're either going to come out with a win and be really warmed up, or we're going to come out with a win and be really warmed up. And yeah, so I couldn't be happier.
so 2-0.
I mean, I'll also say that Swain is another up-and-coming player that if you guys haven't seen him around, like, you will start seeing soon, because I mean, that guy has some talent, and I could see a pretty high ceiling for him as well. So, just my scouting report from what I see. But
Yeah. No, and I love running into these guys. These guys are great to play against. I really enjoy playing them, and I've scrimmed against Icons, and it sucks. So because they're really on the tails of phenoms, I feel. But I think it's gonna go 2-0, not because I'm crapping on Easy Dragons by any means. 2-0, but it's gonna be close. It's not gonna be a cakewalk of like the last match I talked about, 3-0, 3-0, unless a mistake is made. But I think this is gonna be kind of like a 2-1 game, a 3-2 game. It's gonna be closer, and could go. There's gonna be, but I'm putting it on Icons each time. All right, and our next matchup, if we're gonna keep rolling here, Bit Odyssey versus Terminus. We can't get Rezon's deal about his own team.
well, I mean, Rustin said, I mean, he feels if they play well, they should be in the top 4 finish,
Mhm.
right?
What he said.
So, yeah. So we'll say Resin's pick. Resin does 2-0 for himself.
I would hope he would choose 2.
But I mean,
So
let's
now
talk about Bit Odyssey a little bit, right? They
Yep.
got Axe Makos. I know he's been playing a lot of Armajet pickups. And for players that want to get better, I'm just letting you guys know, go play Armajet pickups. It will definitely help your individual pilot skills. It definitely will. They have Collider. She's gotten a lot better. Red Heat, I think he turned some heads last week. Michaela's best, or Malaka's best. I don't know. I've seen him around a little bit. I don't really have too much of an opinion on him or too much notes, but I will say he has been playing a good amount. But I don't know. I mean, like, you're talking about who was it? Who are they playing again? First round?
Terminus.
Terminus.
Bit versus
but yeah, you're
Odyssey.
talking about Resin's teams, the like Samo, Resin, and I mean, you could do Bambi. I'm a big fan of Natural Sky and Jetpack, so I'm gonna have to give it to Terminus 2-1.
Ooh.
And I will say the game 3 is gonna be pushed to the limit.
Interesting.
Push it to the limit.
Oh my god. I'm glad I'm not the only one who does that. You just hear that. You hear that song in your head. And you just gotta belt it.
You're in good company.
Good, good. I'm glad. Secret, what you got?
What do you guys think? We're doing Bid Odyssey, Bid Odyssey,
And Terminus.
I like X Mokos. I've played against them quite a bit. I just think I just can't get my mind around, like I said, Rezon's team, Terminus losing. I just can't. Those guys are too good. I think they're gonna have to have some gelling issues in a sense, but I just can't imagine them losing. And like I said, and yeah, so I'm gonna go, like I said, Terminus.
Nice. 2-0?
Yeah, Terminus 2-0, honestly. I think they're gonna come out and try to make a statement.
I can't agree more. I'm not going to add too much color with that, but I think it's going to be Terminus 2-0. I've played and seen a couple of the players around, but there was nothing that like, wow, these guys are crazy, you know. So I don't know enough about that crew, but I think Terminus being who they are and who they have, I think they'll definitely take it in two.
All right. Let's do second round.
Is what the,
Oh wait,
Sean hasn't said anything.
I want to agree with our boy Rezon, and I want to say 2-0 for Terminus. He's too good not to get in second round, and with a train. So they're gonna go 2-0 versus.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. All right, so as Night Raid said, we're gonna go have a look at what. Based on our predictions, who's going to be like playing against Phenoms. We said XOZ for sure. So we're going to talk about XOZ versus Phenoms right now. What you guys?
Let Secret start.
Is there a reason why we're going to let him start? He seemed pretty adamant to have him go. He's like, no, let him start. Go on.
Secret, you there?
Yeah. So I think this is kind of an easy one. I just don't see XOZ making that jump yet to be in, let's say, the top 3, right? And I what I would say is the top 3 or maybe even top 4, right? An outside team, but really it's the top 3 that you can kind of give it to that might be able to take each other on any day in a sense. They're just not that team right now. It's not that they can't be. You know, I think they have a lot of good pieces that they could definitely build to that. But I just don't see it. I mean, even in a sense, we scrimmed them earlier. They're a really, really good team. But when we played against them in Phenoms, it's just, you know, I think Phenoms, I mean, for our point of view, gave us way more problems. So I would say Phenoms 2-0, and it's not to take anything away from Casey or Noctis or any of the guys. Those are great guys, great players. I just don't think this is the week that they make, let's say, that next jump.
Yeah.
It's not that they can't do it. This isn't the week, I don't think.
No, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
Like
I'll just piggyback and just say 2-0 Phenoms as well. I think, like it's just like he said, XOZ. I think they have great individual players. I just don't think they are melding as a team, especially from the scrim I watched. I don't think they're quite there yet to contend with us quite yet. But not saying that by the Invitational, if they make it, they won't be. But this week they're not. So I'm gonna
and this is going to be great for them because they get an opportunity to play against Phenoms and in a highly competitive mode, right? I believe we're doing band second round as well, are we not?
No, I don't think we put that in there.
No, okay.
I think it's still semi-final.
Yeah.
No, I think next week we planned on doing second round and then moving forward.
I'll have to double check the rules. I thought we did it this week, but we're not going to argue about it.
But I want to be right.
No, we're not. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Take it away from him. He doesn't get his candy.
Yeah, no. So Phenoms definitely 2-0 for me for sure. XOZ's not ready. Those, like you said all the right points on Secret. I don't even need to repeat it. Just I'll say ditto. All right, and Sean.
I'll give my own sense on that, and from my perspective, and seeing previous tournaments that Casper, that XOZ has performed in, they have always fallen short. Like I don't think I've ever seen them like reach the top two, like get into the finals of any weekend. So and judging by what I've seen in the previous battle gym, where like just last week Phenom came up on top, it's been top 3 for the last 3 weeks. I'm gonna have to give it to Phenoms 2-0.
That's And then the next matchup we have THC versus, I think we all decided on Inferno, Firetail Inferno, correct? Who would like to start this one off? Don't be shy.
Yeah, I would say Inferno. I mean, I like the High Chiefs a lot. They're really good, and I think within the next few weeks they're going to do something special. And what I mean by that is get to another level and stay there. So I think they're like one of those teams that's just like, I love the fact that they're putting in time, and I think teams that put in time, no matter where they're at, they're going to get rewarded. It's just where they started again. I don't think this is the week. I think Firetail and Inferno, just their players that they have, and everyone kind of keeps bringing up, that the gelling. I think one thing to bring up is this is basically, and obviously I think Unreal was typing it, it's the same group. It's just they're adding Archer, and honestly Archer could be a sub, so it's not even, I would say Archer, I don't even know if they need him, let's say, for these 2 first ones. And I'm not saying like taking anything away, but if they just wanted to go for chemistry, I think they could do it and be just fine. I think the addition of Archer makes them more flexible, but I don't know if it's needed yet, if that makes sense. So I would say Inferno 2-0.
So I'll say this, right? The High Chiefs, I would have definitely been more higher on them if Rad Travis was on the roster, but he's not.
Great player.
And Rad Travis is another one of those up and coming players that I'm excited to see what he develops into. And not to take away anything from Rats or Bad Juju, Davy Jones. I think Davy Jones is another up and coming player, but I just think without Rad Travis for this tournament, I don't see them beating Firetail Inferno. I'm gonna go 2-1 for Firetail.
Yeah, the Chiefs have been putting in the effort and work. You see it I'm on their Discord. I see it a lot. All right, who's up for scrim? Who's up for this? Who's up for that? That's a great sign of an up and coming team. If you go in their Discord and it's not active and you're not seeing people trying to chime in for scrims and things like that, you're going to see a decline 100%. So, I think they may, take a game. I think that's it is possible. But what did I rank him against Apex? See, I said Apex is going to come and it's not going to be it's 2-0 and it's going to be close. So I think Inferno is going to win it. Actually, I'm going to retract. They are doing better, but it's going to be 2-0 just based on who Inferno is beating the previous round. So 2-0. Because I believe Apex can beat THC, so that's why I'm saying it.
Okay. Sean?
I like Firetail. We talked about him winning round 1. I think it's going to be difficult for them. Usually, and when they get into round 2, they don't perform as strong in previous tournaments I've seen. Like maybe it's the pressure that gets to them, maybe it's the higher level of team that they're going up against that's surviving further into the bracket. So I'm gonna have to give them a 2-1 this time. But I think they will get into round 3 though.
Very cool. Larry?
So that's it for THC Inferno, correct?
That is it. You said 2-0, right? Did you say 2-0 or 2-1?
I said 2-1.
Oh, okay.
I said 2-1 also.
Yep.
I said 2-0.
And You said 2-0, sir? I thought you were 2-1. Okay. We're twinsies.
Next
All
one,
right.
we have Icons versus Hammers. Woody, would you like to kick this one off?
I would love to kick this one off just because I saw the shit-eating grin on on Secret's face as his laptop or iPhone just moved. Too funny. Yeah. So
That's an iPad.
Yeah. So this is great. I really this is a defining moment for Icons. I know they've worked really hard, and I believe you guys met them at least once before. Did you not?
I think like twice.
And
This is gonna be the third, if not the fourth time in a row where we move
It's
on.
usually Icons or Apex always faces Hammers in the second round.
Yep. This matchup is more consistent than the tournament itself. Let's put it that way.
yeah, fair enough.
So you're saying that Hammers Esports is like the gatekeeper for you to get into
Basically,
the quarterfinals.
100%.
So this is, and I think you took a game last time as well. Did you not?
We've always been close. I don't think they've ever run past us, but I mean, I want to say we've taken in maybe 2 series, full series, 2-3 series. We've taken maybe 2 games from them. We haven't, and that's been in different series. We obviously had that one last minute goal.
Oh, yeah.
It's turning into history. But it's like I said, it's been them all this time. I'm not even gonna make it seem like it's close. So it's them.
Okay. All right. So I think you guys this is your defining moment, whether you rise or we'll either see the rise of Icons or I don't think we'll ever see a fall of Hammers unless they decide to quit the game. But I think this is going to be a defining moment. And if you don't come out of this, you will next time. That's how I kind of feel. I feel like this is your moment to really put the gears and practice in. And then you'll see what you're missing, I think, out of this game. So I think Hammers is going to take it. It's going to be a 2-1 deal. It's going to be close. I think you're going to be almost there. This is going to, again, nothing on Icons. They're huge and up and coming. So I'm going to put it to that 2-1 Hammers, but it's going to be a damn nail biter.
Sean, how about you?
Well, it's I've seen Hammers perform very well in all of my history in casting sports, and they're very hard to topple. In the Scorpia tournament, which happened at the end of, I think that was at the end of long. They even were knocked down into the lower bracket in the beginning of the tournament. They dragged themselves out of the gutter, and they were able to win. So year after year with these guys, they surprise me over and over again, and since then I've consistently seen them in the top 2, if not usually the king of the hill. And so I'm gonna have to, in this case, give it 2-1, knowing not very much about Icon. There's no disrespect to you, Secret.
Oh, you can disrespect him. It's fine.
Secret. I know you've been waiting. Let's get your opinion here.
I'm gonna call a mulligan on this one. I'm not gonna vote on this one because in all fairness, like I said, I think I voted for us every time last time, and we haven't taken it. So I think words are cheap. Even though, if I were to vote, I would say us. Like I said, we haven't done it. So I think that's disrespectful to Hammers. They're an amazing group. Here's the thing I will say. The last 2 times we were together, we've had at least one player, and I think most of the time it's obviously been me, but we haven't been able to put a full week of practice together in a while because I've been working or something. So I think this is the first full week, and obviously the addition of Draco is huge as well. It's huge. But when we look at our team's chemistry, I think this is the first time since we formed Icons, first time, that we were able to play together as a team. And I think when you see us, if you've kind of It's been pretty good. It's been a noticeable jump in our game, I think. So with that, I'm not gonna vote. I'm excited for this. I think I think the explanation of calling them the gatekeepers wouldn't be any more accurate. And I think if you gain more respect in the Armajet community, it has to be this way. So I love it.
Right on, man. Right on.
Wonderful.
Night
Alright, so
Raid.
here's my take, right?
Oh, did we lose him right when he was about to tell us? I think we did.
Because it's not like
It's frozen, dude.
stay quiet.
Yeah, yeah,
Lights on.
yeah. That's. Oh. Hammers must have hacked him.
Yeah, but anyways,
Is it coming back?
I don't know.
I'm
He.
excited for the matchup.
We just like.
Well, let's move on to the next one. He can come back and give us his opinion later. So the next matchup without Night Raid's massive opinion is Fiery Tail Blevy versus Terminus.
It's downloading. That's why.
His opinion's downloading.
It's such a big file.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So Blevy versus Terminus.
He's gonna come back. It looks like.
Oh yeah, big time.
That's hilarious.
So Firetail versus who did we say? Terminus, right?
Yeah.
This is good. This is a really good matchup, man. I'm excited about this. I think there's Night Raid.
Oh, Night Raid.
Sorry about
back.
that, guys.
There
I
it
am
is.
sorry.
It's okay.
I was talking the whole time, and I just noticed that I noticed like I wasn't being heard. So I'm just gonna say Icons 2-1. I gave a whole speech where nobody heard me.
And he can't repeat it. He doesn't remember it.
I do remember it. I said I think Draco was one of those missing pieces. I think the experience that he brings, the knowledge, his game style, I think really will mesh with the Icons. Icons is very organized in the way they attack, and not to take away from Hammers. I mean, Hammers again, going back in history, have always placed in that 1-2 category, and not trying to put any disrespect in the name, but at the same time, I know how hard my boys are working. I think I've seen Hammers on once this week scrimmaging, but aside from that, I haven't seen them really on. Like key players, like you said, like Billy the Kid, really never comes on unless it's game day. Elsif, I don't think I've really seen him much at all, except playing survival mode. You can't consistently win if you're not willing to put in the time, and I know my boys have put in the time, so I'm giving it to them 2-1.
It's always interesting to see how that happens. You know, like it's almost like looking at convention sports and how who's putting in more practice hours or who's hitting it harder right out there, doing the physical stuff. And those are the teams that succeed, and it's the same here in esports. Like who's putting in the hours, who's doing scrims, who's performing. And if you're performing in your scrims and your private matches, then you're going to perform better when it comes to game day and actually playing it.
No, I agree, Sean.
Mm.
All right, so let's get to our last matchup. We have Fiery Tail Blevy versus, I think we all decided Terminus, right?
Yeah, Blevy Terminus. We were just about to get into it, but
All right, I didn't say
you
what
just
the
said.
score was gonna be.
Let's hear
I'm gonna say, what did you guys say? For what do you guys think about? Okay, so Blevy, who's on that roster?
Blevy was the one with Archer.
Archer's on there.
Yeah.
No, Blevy has
Oh no
Benji.
no. Oh. No, sorry. Yeah, Benji, Guns Blazing, Bleach, Latex, Yobot, and Wolfcore.
Wolfcore as well. Yep. That's a solid team.
Them. Yobot and Wolfcore. Wow, dude, that's a tough one.
Yeah, they finished. Where is it here?
Third.
Yeah, they finished third. They're starting to the cream is starting to rise to the top on this one.
I'm gonna give it a 2-1 for those guys. FTE Blevy, 2-1. Sorry, Terminus.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to agree. I think,
Upstairs with them,
yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Blevy 2-1. I think they just have too strong of a lineup, and they can't
Chemistry.
start off. They can't start off this new campaign of them being already kind of lifted into the top 3 conversation and not finish in the top 3. So this is a very critical game week for them, but I'm gonna give it to Blevy 2-1.
Are we calling them Blovey? Is that their official name? It looks like it says Believe.
It looks like it says believe. It's
A lot
Blevy.
of criticism and feedback, we've learned that it's how they
Yeah, we had
Blovey.
a lot of
Gotcha.
mouth space.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'm gonna have to piggyback on everyone's votes. I'm gonna go 2-1 just because I respect everyone's of like I said, Terminus's lineup. But the chemistry, I think, is just gonna be what's the difference. I don't think you could slap together that good of a team. I mean, a team in general, and have them take down, let's say, a top 3 team. I just don't see it. I don't care which players are. You got to get that chemistry. It's the players and the chemistry. I think that's the difference. And I
So you're at 2.
2-1 Belevi.
Right. I'm in agreement, but with all that, I think Blevy is too strong. They're starting to be OP right now, and it's going to be definitely hard to start beating them. So, Night Raid.
Awesome. So I already gave mine 2-1.
2-1. Okay. Well,
So are we going into talking about the prediction for the semifinals then?
So
We-
normally at this point we just go straight into the finals.
Oh.
So we just say who do you guys got in the finals and who's gonna come out on top.
who's your top 4? So
so
right
we
now
already
we're
got
talking
the
about
top 4,
Phenoms, Inferno. So you have Phenoms, Inferno, Blevy, and we between the 4 of us we are mix on Hammers or Icons. Who are top 4? We're predicting as top 4, but who's gonna finish 1, 2, 3, 4 is where we start talking.
So so let's talk about who's in the finals and which team comes out on top.
I think it's
Sean,
gonna be... Yeah, I'll start. This one's a no-brainer. I think it's gonna be Phenoms.
Phenoms and sorry, you said Phenoms Hammers?
Yeah, Phenoms
Okay.
Hammers. And I feel like with the momentum that Phenoms has going for them, they're gonna come out on top.
Okay, and then so if so that would be Inferno versus Firetail. So 2 Firetail teams, Blevy versus Inferno. Who would you put 1? Who would you put 3 for?
Said Inferno. You said Inferno and
Blevy.
Blevy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Blevy.
Okay.
For 3.
Perfect. Secret, what do you got?
So just looking at the path right to the championship or the finals, I would say Phenoms has not an easy path, but I mean, if I have to go left bracket or right bracket, I would say the other bracket is a little bit more congested than Phenoms. So I would say Phenoms for sure in the finals, and I'm gonna say whoever even they go up against, I have them winning as of right now. As far as that team, I don't know. It's like I said, I stopped voting, so I'm gonna continue with that. It's gonna be that after the second round and that on the other bracket opposite of Phenoms, it's gonna be a traffic jam. Like I think there's a lot of teams in there, especially with Skyrose taking down, that not only want that 3rd spot, that 2nd spot, that 1st spot. There's a lot of movement. You have Hammers, who was the champions two times in a row in that track. You have Firetail, who is not talking a lot of trash. They're not trash talkers, but they're saying that they're ready. I mean, I know we're in there too. There's just a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of it comes from Skyrose kind of obviously disbanding. Even Terminus is in there. That whole area, if you notice, is basically a whole bracket of broken up pieces of Skyrose, and we don't know how things are gonna fall yet, man. So it's interesting. I don't know, but I think Phenoms is gonna take the whole thing no matter what. they're gonna capitalize on honestly this kind of moment of where people are still kind of collecting their thoughts. I would say they're gonna ride that momentum, but it's gonna be an interesting time.
Secret, that's so cool that you say that. I feel like that Skyro's leaving the scene has left a big power vacuum.
Yeah.
And their team, and it's kind of like you grabbed a pot of gold and you scattered a bunch of pieces everywhere, and that's what these teams have done. These pieces have been picked up by a lot of different teams, and now they're going to be able to perform so differently than what we've seen in previous Armajet tournaments.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if you notice too, all of those pieces are on the other side of the bracket. That's why Phenoms just kind of like stay clear of the way from the mess. There's about to be a war on the other side. I'm not saying Phenoms isn't going to play. They're obviously going to handle their business. I think that, but on the other side, I think it's going to be a war. Like that's what happens. I think when someone drops the ball, right, people run after it to try to pick it up, and you have players like full on charging right now to try to pick up that ball. And they're going to get hit. This is going to be a bloodbath on the other side. There's a lot of teams believe that not only are they the third best team, the second best team, but there's people in that group that fully believe they're the first best team, and they're going to have to go against each other.
And you gotta remember, there's over 1,000 reasons now.
Oh yeah.
There's over 1,000 reasons now why you want to try to finish in the higher seeds in this tournament, right? So that's a whole other add to it.
I feel like these games feel like rivalry games, man. You have players that used to play against each other.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna have to play against each other, man. This is it's an interesting time.
Absolutely. So appreciate the fact that you don't want to say 2, 3, 4. I absolutely do. Nope. I will just jump in and say Phenoms. I'm gonna say Blevy. I think Blevy will beat Hammers. They've increased their roster. They play hard. I think Hammers may lose this one. It's not going to be an easy one by any means. That's not going to be the easiest 5 games they ever had, but it's I think they'll edge them out. And so I think Hammer's going to get shot down to play what do we have as Inferno. So Hammer's going to beat Inferno like they did to get it to where they are. So yeah, I think that's going to be Phenoms, Blevy, Hammers, and then Inferno.
So I think it's going to be a sweaty finals. I think it's going to be Phenoms versus Icons. Of course, Phenoms is going to spank that ass just like they always do. But I think I'm not going to say a sweep. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give Secret a little respect and say 4-2. And it's hard for me to say 2, but I'm gonna say 4-2.
We're back against the scrims against you guys, by the way. We didn't want you guys to go into the tournament discouraged.
Hey, how did you like those venom pellets? Or no, the rippers?
Oh, that was a joke. The game that we finished you guys off in a minute.
But yes, so I'm gonna say Phenoms, Icons, Blevy, Inferno.
All right.
That is
well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We have gone through the entire tournament and got you who we feel the top 4 is. We all come into an agreement that Phenoms is going to take this, and then it's a mixed bag all around. So should be very interesting. No pressure to you, Night Raid, or the rest of the Phenoms. Not at all. Besides,
we thrive under pressure.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that we're done with the brackets, right? I definitely want to give Sean some time to, especially let us know a little bit about himself. I know, like when I introduced him, he used to do the Armajet castings, but he's also done some other games as well. Like I believe, like Vainglory is one of them that stands out into my mind. He's traveled all to Asia, to Europe to do some of these castings, so he's well traveled. But yes, here's Sean Ostino. Let's give him his 4. Let's give him the 4.
Woo!
All right. Well, thanks for having me here again on the Sweaty Synergy podcast. I really appreciate being here in the sauna with y'all. Yeah, let me tell you about my history. Like I've been hosting and casting stuff for quite a while on podcasts and doing. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, good. Just making sure. My AirPods like sound like they were dying, so I think I got a little bit of time left on them. But so it's funny that you guys like want to hear about my history because I actually was looking at my very first episode, which aired in 2011, way back in the day, doing an AfterBuzz TV podcast. That was my first ever episode, and I was watching, and I was like editing it, and I'm gonna put it on my. I was just like, holy crap! I was actually like pretty good. Other than the intro, I was like pretty good with talking about the topic show, which was nice. And so I worked in a YouTube studio in Hollywood for about, I think it was about 5 or 6 years. And then after that, moved up to the Bay Area. And here in the Bay Area, I started playing video games again. I couldn't stop doing a channel or hosting of some kind. So instead of working for other people doing a YouTube channel, started doing my own channel for video game play. And I discovered Twitch. Never was into broadcasting video gameplay of any kind before, but I got in at a good time. I got really lucky. I hooked up with people from the Vainglory community, started playing that all the time when Vainglory exploded, was the best mobile MOBA in the world. And I met the top caster up here because I was listening to the podcast all the time. Found out he lived near me, and I was just like, dude, let's have some coffee. So Humanist and we had a great coffee conversation, and he invited me to become a caster. So I ended up getting into casting with Vainglory. I got contracted by the game developer Super Evil Megacorp and ESL. Did that, performed with them back in this is forever in esports. I think it was this fall split of 2017. And performed with them for a bit. Then the following year, nothing for Vainglory Esports was like dying. Terrible. And the game Vainglory is actually officially gone. It's only Community Edition now. Very, very difficult to see anybody playing that live. Yeah, the game has officially been like dissolved. Like it's not working anymore. And but I got lucky enough last year before this happened to be contracted by the WESG, and I flew abroad to record in the studio in Ukraine and do esports commentary there with Forecourt Jester, who's an amazing caster, legendary caster for Vainglory. Man, it's been a crazy ride. So many other games I've cast since then. I've been able to get my foot in a lot of doors, like start casting with Armajet. I started doing PUBG mobile cast because of my specialty in mobile games. I've also done some Fortnite as well. And I think that's about it. Those are like my big 4 games that I've been able to do esport commentary and casting with. I did a short stint where I moved back to LA several months ago. And down there, I was actually also doing a news report on video game news. I did a few episodes with them. But since then, it's super busy back up here in the Bay Area. I've got a day job. I'm not getting as much casting gigs, but it's pretty awesome. Thanks to Night Raid and y'all here at Sweaty Synergy, I've been able to get my foot back into the Armajet esport door. And I'm going to be talking about Armajet again and casting with y'all.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so that's like a brief history of all my casting and hosting. It's been a crazy ride these last 10 years.
Yeah, I know when I was thinking about the Invitational, and I was like, Woody's been doing a fantastic job for us, but I know like myself, I'm gonna be during the Invitational, I'm gonna be too focused to try to co-commentate like when I can. I know the secret as well. He's expecting his team to arrive to the Invitational or to be invited to the Invitational as well. So I know he wants to spend more time focusing, playing game or going over strategies during the tournament. So I was like, who can I reach out to? I started doing some digging through YouTube and stuff, and I was like, who's this guy? And I started doing my research on you, Sean, and I was like, man, he's been doing some Armajet casting, and I was like, I think he would be an excellent guy to try to approach and see if you'd be interested in coming back and casting this event, and especially since you've done a lot of the major events for Armajet, like I think this is the biggest tournament in Armajet history as far as prize pool goes. I mean, we've already doubled the largest pool, and hopefully it gets. I mean, I would love to see it at least at 1,500 at this point.
Well, y'all are doing the best thing. You've got Battle Ball Esports for Armajet, which is amazing because that is the best part of Armajet when it comes to esports. And then you're having huge prize pool. You've already got the organization, right? You've got the teams. Everybody's fighting over this already. They want a piece of that action, so they're going to be. This is going to be a huge tournament in July.
No, absolutely. And I mean, there's a lot of things that we are working on behind the scenes to where, like, I want to talk about it, but I don't want to give it away. So, like, I'm just letting
Don't
you
do
guys
that.
know that are watching. We have a lot of exciting things ready to happen, especially leading up to the invitational. Um, like, I know Sean's gonna be with us tomorrow to get his feet back to get his feet wet back into Armajet, and I'm excited to hear the duo here of Sean and Woody casting together. I think it'll be exciting. Um, but as far as a player, how come you never got into the competitive scene?
I was invited, and I played on.
Your mic just cut
Oh,
out.
we had our like. You guys
Your mic is cutting in and out. So while you figure that out, I'll just say I'm really excited to having Sean co-casting with me. It's I've only been doing this for as long as we've been doing battle gyms. So, oh, are you back?
Yeah, I think you guys are going to be a good combination.
It should be really cool. I've
Yeah.
been casting for the last 3 months for these battle gyms. I feel I've grown as a caster myself, but being able to cast with someone with your resume and background is going to be very interesting to see the areas of improvement. And hell, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at any of the previous battle gyms, but would love to get your feedback. But I know you're now. No, I think your microphone's back, so I'll let you chime in.
Is it back now? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay. What was the initial question?
Yeah.
That we
So I
started.
said,
with?
so I noticed that
Oh,
you've never
why
really
didn't you
gotten
play
into competitive play?
Yes, that's right. So I was invited to play, even though I was a caster, and I did play this one special weekend. I made an exception for it. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And I don't even know if I was casting also that weekend, which I don't think I was because it would have been really hard to do both. But it was Space Soldier. That was the name of the team, and it was with some of the other people from probably the Scorpio team. Anyway, so I did that. We did not finals. It's terrible. I am not the best competitive. A lot of pro players, though, they have told me I'm good. Like Elsif, Lucas, like they're like, dude, no crap. Sean Mastino is a good player. He just doesn't use the best weapons or strategy. I love using the Thunder. Super comfortable. So I'm the finisher. If you're gonna weaken somebody, or if I weaken somebody, you pick them off, and then maybe I can pick them off if they're running away, right? With Thunder, because that thing just locks on to people, right?
Yeah, that used to be my go-to weapon when I played a lot.
Yeah, it's a great weapon. It's fun. I like the look. I like how it's really light. You can really get around the map a lot easier. And the whole reason why I got
In a way.
chosen to be a caster in Armajet was because I was in the top 100 back in 2018, and I started playing it during like the summer to early fall of 2018, and I was just like, man, I'm one of the top people in the world on this game. I'm gonna keep playing this. I'm gonna keep getting good. I'm gonna keep posting videos, post commentary, stream it on Twitch, and that's how I got approached by Kima and some developers to cast. Even I was just casting the dev update. You know how Kima does the dev updates,
Yeah.
right? I was casting gameplay on there with like the beta test, you know. So it was super fun to do that, and I love Armajet. I'm like, I know every weapon. I know how heavy it is. I know what it feels like. I know like how I know what's going to outtrade what, and thanks to playing it for a year and a half to 2 years now, and that's a lifetime. So
Well, you love it.
play,
Well, you love it so much you imprinted it on your body.
Being humanist of Armajet, that's me.
No, that's awesome.
Well, obviously you love it so much because you, like we mentioned before, you're tattooed.
Yeah.
Armajet's a part of me. That's a cool thing about Armajet, and I also have a Vainglory tattoo. Right.
Oh, nice.
That was actually
nice.
my first tattoo. Yeah, I got that in Ukraine when I went over there to do the casting for it, and this one I got up here in the Bay Area. But I feel like the connections you make with people from esports is like so valuable, and it's so fun and exciting, and it becomes a big part of your life. And I've been able to connect with people all over the world, like you guys and the different states you're in, different country when it comes to Woody. And you know, we haven't even met each other in person, but just because we have a love and passion for this game, we're able to transcend the boundaries, the limitations of being in one place. And I've gone to numerous Vainglory events. I've gone to TwitchCon, and I've even just met up with people, like people from Razer. I've like had coffee with a buddy of mine who lives nearby me. The going to, again, like the events like TwitchCon, huge. Vainglory tournament, huge. Like you go there and you get to meet all the pro players from Europe and China and so many different countries. I can't wait until Armajet gets to that point where they have regular global tournaments where it's actually, hopefully COVID doesn't prevent us from doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I think this you know, like what we're doing is hopefully just the beginning of the revival of the competitive scene. Like I would love to see this game explode to where we can start having LAN tournaments, you know, because the prize pool is warranting a LAN tournament, you know, like that would be so awesome, right? And being able to actually meet a lot of these players that I've been playing against or with in person, I think that would be awesome. Like I know we were discussing within our own organization for possibly having like a 1-year anniversary retreat, you know, to where our players, you know, we're gonna select the location and, you know, meet up for a couple days just to chill and actually get to know each other, you know, and I think that would be awesome. Like, I truly have a passion for esports, and I think that's why when you meet somebody like-minded or with a true passion for it, I think that's awesome. Like it does, like you said, it transcends that relationship because you both feel so passionately about something to where, like myself, I love video games so much. I decided to, you know, team up with Woody and Juicy to start an esports company. You yourself, I mean, you've been around the globe almost doing esports. You know, Woody, I mean, he just went from kind of testing the whole Twitch platform out to see if it's suitable for his son to becoming a full-time caster. Like this is awesome. You know, like I think you're right. It does transcend friendships, and I think esports one, I know it's going to be the future of a new way to make money in business. Like it already has. Like I think it's a top 10. It was a top 10 money making business last year in the world, which is nuts for playing a video game.
Yeah.
So
I remember playing my Nintendo all the time, and my mom's like, "You're not gonna make any money playing this." Like, wrong. I can now.
Mom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
So,
a whole new world now, and you know, thanks to being able to like, well, there is gaming. Esports has been around for a hell of a long time. You know, slap some Nintendos together in the same room, and there you go. You have a mini esport going on. But to the level it's at, where it's some days to me like people giving you money, donating you money because you're playing a game is still foreign in my head, and don't necessarily have quite accepted that. I guess it's mind blowing, and so it's really cool to watch this as we build this company into where we want to take it, and I'm really excited just to be a part of kind of esports because I've been playing like regular sports for a long time.
just so in case everybody doesn't know, Sean will be with us for the invitational. He is going to be the co-caster, if I haven't mentioned it yet, and we are super stoked to have him. That is one of the big surprises that I've had, but this is only the beginning. Just wait, guys, to see what else we kind of roll out. Hopefully, a couple things fall into place to where we can have even bigger surprises. But I mean, Sean, I mean, like I said, like if you haven't seen his casting, like please go check it out on YouTube, like I have. Like he has done some amazing job. Like I am so excited to have him as part of the Battle Gym series caster at this time, and I think I think this is going to be one tremendous event on July 25th and 26th. Also, for teams that that haven't quite paid attention, the Invitational is a 2-day event. So please make sure that your team knows July 25th and 26th. Request off work or whatever you got to do, because it is a 2-day event. And I mean, unfortunately, if your team can't make it, your team can't make it, and I mean, it's just gonna make it easier for other teams to win some of that cash. So please do mark it on your calendars, July 25th and 26th.
100%. Nice.
You guys have any question for Sean? Any questions that you guys have might have written down?
So
Yeah,
I know we. Oh, sorry. I know we have like that quick rapid fire question that I always get riled up about.
Oh, that thing.
Pizza. Do you
Yes.
put the pizza question? Do you put pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
Oh,
He's a good man. Good man.
I'm a fruity guy. I like changing things up.
He's not scared of your criticism. That's what it comes down to.
oh, I don't think he gives a shit about my criticism, to be honest.
Man who can put pineapple on pizza has
There you go. I like it.
But it doesn't.
He makes
I don't like pineapple normally. I'm not going to put it on pizza, so that's my thing.
Yeah, well, I don't either. Actually, I wouldn't eat pineapple by itself. I don't eat fruits really. The only fruits I eat are berries right now, like blackberries, raspberries, blueberries.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't eat any other fruits. If I get pizza, I usually don't get pineapple and ham, which is like the typical if you're gonna get pineapple on it. I don't get that often. I'll get that once every 10 times.
Okay.
But
All
I'll
right.
do it.
All right.
So, what is your favorite dish to eat?
Favorite dish to eat? You guys are gonna. I'm on the carnivore-ish diet right now, so I cook.
Is that a keto?
Meat. It ends up being keto. Carnivore
Yeah.
is keto, so I cook a lot of meat. I'll throw it in a pressure cooker, and I eat the meat out of there. I like to do cow liver, and like grass-fed bison. That would be my favorite thing
Wow.
to have. Put
Ooh,
some
yeah.
red salt on top of it. That's the deal right there. That or eggs and grass-fed beef, really good. And
Nice. Very cool.
Nice. What was your question, Secret?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, is there some nostalgia almost coming back to the scene like this? Like, is it like, how does it feel?
here, I just put in my other AirPods.
Yeah,
Hear
you're
me
fine.
still?
No, I was saying,
Okay.
how is it? How does it feel? Like, is there some nostalgia coming back to Armajet like this?
Yeah, there is. I had a really good run with Super Bit Machine and and the Forge League.
Right.
It's kind of weird because like they were, it's kind of like I'm sure this is the way it was working. I didn't see anything official, but it must be Super Bit Machine has connection to Hammers and then Kima and stuff, and the Forge League is associated with Hammers, so that's where the money was coming from before. The esports wasn't generating enough views,
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
So it kind of died out when it came to. I'm so glad that y'all are doing this. That it's we have it's like a new crew,
Yeah.
and I'm able to just get back into it and talk about it again. It's really nice. So there is some nostalgia to it.
Yeah,
that
nice.
answers
That's
the
awesome.
question. It's good. It's
Absolutely.
good. I can show off my Armajet tattoo. And people know what
Nice.
it is.
Yeah.
Let's get it famous.
All right. What's your what is your favorite Armajet casting moment, I guess? Or what is your single favorite moment from Armajet related?
Well, I have a few. There's I think it was Ayun Yax, who was she was a pro player that was on one of the teams previously. I think she may have been on Fire, and she was also really good video editor. So what she would do, I may be getting mixed up on what team, but I think she was on Fire. Either way, she's a really good video editor, part of the Armajet community, plays different games. But at the time for the Forge League, she did the weekly roundups in like a 2 or 3 minute video. She captured some of my best casts. I was just wow, she made me look 10 times better than I am. And but one of the best moments that I think of, so many good ones, but one of the best ones that's like never happened, things that never happened in Armajet, is team deathmatch, 2 teams going at each other. Somebody picks up the double damage, rotates over to the right side of the map on the upper lane, gets shot, killed, loses the double damage, goes over the side of the map, over the cliff, and people try to get it, but they can't, and it blows off. No one can use the double damage. I captured that moment, and it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And actually, it happened again another time, but it's only happened 2 times in all the casting I've ever done, and it was a crazy moment the first time it ever happened.
Wow.
Yeah, I've actually seen that happen. I've seen that happen at Temple, and where someone just gets shot going up to the top, just trying to get away from, and then boo! I'm like, oh, I did try to go after it. I'm like, oh, maybe I can get it.
It's like, well, the DD just went to waste.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one time we were playing battle ball and somebody just tried to purposely throw it off the cliff, and like I chased it actually and caught it and threw it back up, and my teammate caught it for his score. And it was such an epic moment for me because I was like, because I guess they thought it was safe because they tried to throw it off the cliff, but I mean I sure went after it with like I think I hit like super speed and then the boost to like catch up to the ball, and like it was so funny.
That's pretty cool. So you have to think about those moments, and sure they're funny. In the case of the DD, it's like, oh man, I can't believe that happened. It's hilarious, But at the same time, we analyze the stats a lot on who picked up the DD and who picked up the invis, and the teams that picked those up, they had a higher increased chance of win rate during the matches, and they had higher KDA. So if you don't pick that up and you don't utilize it effectively, that could be a match.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's 100%. I mean, it definitely makes sense because if you can control the double damage and invis spawn, like you do have a better chance because one, now you're saying that you have map control, so generally you're winning those gun battles, and 2, now you got a power up. So yeah, absolutely, you're gonna have a better chance to win. So yeah, great point. Another question was, who is your favorite esports team?
Oh, that's a tough one because even though I love esports and I have a passion for it, I don't watch as much as I could. So it's hard to say. If back to the good old days of Vainglory, which I've spent a lot of time watching Vainglory Esports. I really like Tribe, Team Solomid. Those are some of the ones that stuck out to me. Hammers, sorry, if Siri was talking, I said something. Hammers, they actually had some really great teams. So if I was gonna choose like out of those top three, I would say probably TSM. I feel like TSM
Nice.
had some really good Vainglory moments, and I kind of wish they were still in mobile gaming and mobile esports because I would probably watch a lot more, whatever they were in. But these days,
All right.
I'm watching more Legends of Runeterra esports, a little bit of Rocket League, and Legends of Runeterra. I really like the gameplay, and those are obviously just single players, right? But I really like the gameplay that I saw from Dog Dog, and he won the last Twitch Rivals Legends of Runeterra tournament. Got knowledge.
All right, so I normally ask generally the questions go on. The questions get a little bit tougher to answer each time. So, next question is, if you could choose the revival of, let's say, Vainglory Esports or Armajet Esports, which would it be?
Dang, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one, right? And
Oh
especially
my
now that
God.
we found out you have a Vainglory tattoo as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dude, okay, so honestly, because Armajet has never gotten to the level of Vainglory Esports, I'm gonna have to say Vainglory Esports, because when we were in the Vainglory Esports sphere, I went to 3 different Vainglory events. Maybe it was two or three, whatever. They were here in California. I went to another one that was Command Conquer, that was here in the Bay Area, which felt like all the Vainglory Esports people, because a lot of people got, like everybody was like hiring each other.
Nice.
I would have to say Vainglory, because you felt like you were a freaking rock star when you were hanging around. Like I was just at the time, I was just a streamer becoming a caster in the Vainglory scene, and I felt like so fun, so
Nice.
cool, hanging out with people, getting drinks everywhere in Hollywood, downtown LA, and you got to meet so many people from around the world and pro players, the casters, learning from a lot of people, making connections, and just being friends. It's I would say bring back Vainglory Esports. But that's not.
Okay.
It's never gonna happen.
So from the time that you casted Armajet, right? Who would you say is the most overrated player that you've seen?
It's hard to say because the players that you are the best, you would say, okay, well, they could be overrated too. But it's they're good. There's a lot of really good players in. See, that's the thing. But if there were overrated players, I don't know what qualifies as overrated. Like they win, but then they're not really that good. Is that what we're going at here?
So I'll say this. So this is the answer that Archer gave last, or was it Archer? Yeah, it was Archer last week. So what he said was, although this player is fantastic, he had to go with the light because as good as he is, and for being good as he is, he still hasn't won anything yet. He's never won a major or like a big Armajet tournament. But I mean, his name's always thrown in there as possibly a top 5 player. But again,
Yeah.
he has never. So that's the way Archer put it. I'm just giving you an example.
That's interesting
Yes.
because I feel like he has won some major tournaments. Like I've seen Sky Rose and Archer on the roster.
Not Archer, but the light. No, Archer saying
the
that
light.
said that about the light.
Archer
Yes.
said that
Yes.
All right, if I'm gonna say somebody's, that's hard. It's really hard. I can't really give an answer for that. I don't want to say any of the Hammers guys because they won a lot. But I want to say if there was someone who was still around Tribe roster, I would probably say, like name any of the guys that were playing last year or in the last year and a half for Armajet. Tribe. Those guys probably be.
Yeah. So who was your favorite Armajet player while you were in the scene?
Oh, I loved Play, Lucas, Benji, Archer, Drakasan. Those are a lot of players that had excellent time cast in their gameplay. They were just so good. So any of those guys, I'm probably I probably feel bad if someone yells at me in Twitch chat saying, "Hey, it's not about me. What about me? What about this guy? What about that guy?" But to be honest, those are the names that are ringing bells right in my head. So many good plays, just it was such a fun scene, especially last year, for half the year. But yeah, those 5. I think I said 5.
So, who are you surprised to still see playing Armajet, especially competitively?
I'm surprised actually. A lot of the Fiery Tail guys are playing, like the ones you said, Yobot, Wolfcore. I think did you say Trumpkin? Yeah, I think
Yep.
Trumpkin, because they have two different FTE teams. I feel like I'm surprised that they're still around, which is good, because Fiery Tail always had a difficult time winning. They never won a tournament. I don't even think they ever made it to the finals at any of the weekends that I cast. But they're a very hardworking team, and they continue to persevere, and they're getting better. So I'm so glad and happy to see any of those FTE players, pilots, still around.
Nice. And then final question. Who do you feel should quit Armajet?
That I'm gonna throw Nux that one.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And I'm only doing that to be a troll because
Right, he's doing it for the troll.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the troll because I know he would probably say something equivalent to me. Most overrated caster, Sauna.
Right.
But
that is something Aloxis would say.
Yeah, Noxus is awesome. He's a really cool guy. He's actually a good player. If I played against that guy 1v, he would destroy me. I played against him in pub matches, and he's on the opposite team. He destroys me. He destroys a lot of players. The thing is, though, that he's just so toxic sometimes when it comes to emotes and saying things in chat. And he's got a Discord chat too. I'm in the Discord server. We've had some fun conversations. He's a cool guy. So just doing it for the troll, not with Armajet.
That's hilarious. He's you were aware that he got banned from on Armajet Discord, right? He's been banned for a while for obviously saying things and whatnot, and it wasn't too long ago that he posted a Twitter message about wanting to be unbanned and give him another chance and so on. And I know us here said he publicly apologized and he publicly said I'll be better, just can I please come back in, I want to help the community and so on and so forth. So so we said give the guy another chance, but it hasn't been lifted as of yet.
That's hilarious. How long has it been now? A couple months?
I think he's been banned as for long as I've been, I think, active. So, and that's
crazy.
since
November, December for you, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So it's been 8 months now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Possibly. So I didn't really join the Armajet server probably until more closer to January. But yeah.
The Armajet server is kind of overwhelming. It's too much stuff, too many people chatting in there, too much stuff going on. It's ooh, we've reached I'm not bagging on Armajet. I love Armajet. But it's ooh, we've reached 10,000 pilots in the server. It's
you're not gonna get a word in edgeways.
Enjoy the game,
Yeah.
How many people you have in the server, right? That's your big news.
Well, anyways, guys, I mean, we've been at this for like 3 hours. Has been our longest episode to date. Like I said, I told
We
you we
did
guys
it.
we had a lot of great topics today. Great special guest. I think it's gonna be an exciting tournament tomorrow. But we definitely should wrap it up at this point. Thank you guys again. Hey, Sean, how do people find you? Let's get you a 30-second plug here. How do people
Yeah.
find you?
Best way to find me is on Twitter, Sean Austino, SeanAustino, and hit me up on there. That's the one I check the most. You can find me on Insta too. Not so active on there. Discord, Sean Austino, #2879 is Discord name.
Nice.
Awesome. How about you, Woody?
Well, actually, I just recently changed my Twitter social. I need to update this thing, but it's Twitter. So these items, I don't use Facebook all that much. Everything actually gets dumped into Facebook from Twitter, so you don't have to follow me there. But it's W00DY_TTV. And then Woody7 is still Twitch. So check me out.
And you, Secret?
Yeah, so I finally have things to plug. So I'm finally streaming. Just changed my Twitter as well. Fully dedicated to the online gaming community. So they can find me at TTV Secret _, TTV _Secret. The first E is a number 3 instead. I just put it in the chat. Come watch me stream or play and have a good time.
And watch him burn
Awesome.
Canada
And
to
then,
the ground.
of course-
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
What's that?
of course, you can always find me at Night Raid X81 on Twitter, on Twitch, or on Discord. I do want to say though, we have a lot of content creators coming up, such as like Woody, Secret, Ubiquitous. We have a lot of things, like I said, happening for Sweaty Synergy Esports. If you haven't followed our page yet, please do on Twitter and on Sweaty Synergy or on Twitch. I mean, we're trying to bring you guys great content, so all the follows or likes or retweets definitely help us out. Again, I do want to say something about Secret. He's a funny dude. You should definitely check out his stream one time, especially when he plays Democracy 3, because he destroys countries easily. So
Canada
But
didn't
yes.
have a chance. Justin Trudeau
so definitely check out Woody.
is
Definitely
way
check out
better
Woody.
as a prime
Definitely check
minister
out
than...
Secret. Definitely give my give our guy here, Sean Austino, some love.
Absolutely.
Come check us out tomorrow. Come watch as Woody and Sean co-cast the Battle Gem Part 7. Again, you'll see my donation drop tomorrow as well.
Ooh, big one.
Don't want to miss that. I'm gonna make that happen sharp at 2:00. So if you don't want to miss, if you want to see that, make sure you're there.
Can people still donate? They can still donate.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So they have all the way up till the date of the invitational to donate. And I just want to say, whether you donate $1 or $2, 50 cents, I don't care. Like everything, 100% of the donations is going to the invitational's prize pool.
Absolutely.
These pilots are working their ass off right now to try to bring you guys the best possible show. So please do show them some love by doing a small donation. Again, the amount doesn't matter, but just you guys being there and supporting, I mean, that's all we care about. So Thank you guys very much for coming out this evening. We had another hell of a show. Can't wait for next week, and where we'll talk about the results and a couple other sweaty topics. So everybody have a great night, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Take care, and thanks, Sean.
Peace, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. All right. So Sean, thank